The
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Plan back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How are you beautiful people doing this evening, man? We got a very special show lined up. As you guys can see, we got some usual suspects in here, but this is not everybody, okay? We got some other people falling through, and you never know, we might have some other guests jumping in as well, too, that were not necessarily on the schedule, but it is the final show of 2023. What's up, all you beautiful people in chat? Remember, share the link out. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live tonight, man. So everybody coming out this weekend, you guys are extra special due to the holiday, traveling, things like that. So everybody that could be here, you guys are super duper awesome. Like I said, share the link. We got a lot to talk about, man. 2023 has been a big year for us, been a big year for the gaming industry, and that's what the hell we're here for, to celebrate video games at the end of the day. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to celebrate the last Shop Podcast of 2023, but we're also going to celebrate gaming as a whole. But, you know, in my opinion, the greatest gaming year in video game history, 2023 as well, man. Like I said, we got some other people falling through, so this panel will be pretty full tonight. A little bit more full than you guys expected or you guys normally see, but we got a lot of guests coming through, so let's get into that, man. First and foremost, we're gonna start with you, Mr. 3-Bit. Appreciate you for falling through, bruh. It's been a little bit of time. We was talking pregame. Been a little bit of time since you ain't been on the show, but like I said, it's always family, man. It's always familiar when you come back, man. How you been?
I've been pretty good, man. I just been getting ready for these holidays. Been chilling. I've been gaming a lot. Playing some Avatar. That game is absolutely gorgeous. I played it on the Series S for a bit and played it on the Series X. Wow. it's
hey, man,
definitely
that snowdrop, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that game is impressive. So I've been playing that. Been just catching up on gaming, just trying to chill for a little bit. And I've been listening to some of you guys on the panel shows have just been in chat, just just listening to you guys. I listened to Living Split Screen earlier, and it's been a chill week because usually I'd be working a lot, so it's been much needed. But yeah, excited to be here with everybody.
Man, appreciate you, 3-Bit, man. Bringing that energy, man. You guys welcome 3-Bit into the show. You guys know what to do. Roll at the red carpet for the guests here at the Shop Podcast, man. But appreciate you once again, 3-Bit. All his information is in the description. You guys know what to do. Go follow 3-Bit. If you don't already know who he is, man, great content. We're gonna push him to do more some more individual stuff in 2024.
Yep.
I didn't mean to out you live on the air because I know we talked about this pregame, but man, we definitely looking forward to some content for you, 3, but appreciate you coming through, man.
It's coming.
Oh, awesome. See, so we got it confirmed here. This is the receipt, people. So if we don't get content, you can always come back to this video and then scold him later on. All right. So just playing, but shout out to you, 3-Bit, for coming through, man. We got Mr. Dirt Griggity. Appreciate you, sir, for coming through, man. How you been, brother?
I've been good, man. How about yourself?
I've been freaking-tastic, Dirt. I've been seeing you all over the place, bro. The show's doing phenomenal. Congratulations there, bro. What you been playing? What's been going on, man? I know you've been growing quite a bit with the the disdain in the community. The
man,
following has been growing.
Listen, man, people like little trash talking, and that's okay. You know, I'm here for it. So yeah, man, you know, we be having fun. You know, the channel's doing well. But as far as what I've been playing just like 3-Bit. I've been playing with Avatar. That game is gorgeous, like he said, a beautiful game. But I also been playing a lot of you know, because I noticed I don't have a capture card, so I've been trying to get some different gameplay footage for my videos, and so I've been going to play some old stuff. And man, I love the backwards compatibility option for the Xbox, man. You know, like I mentioned, I don't have a capture card, so it's like, wow, some of those old games I'm able to just play again. I played you know, some Rise of the Tomb Raider, some Kane and Lynch 2, which wasn't as good as part 1, but it was, you know, it was still okay.
Yeah.
You know, Rise Center Rome. So just going back to play some old games, man, get some old footage, and yeah, I've been having fun.
Okay, for sure. Appreciate you coming through as well, Dirt. You guys know what to do. Dirt, OG here in the game, one of the people we look up to in the Xbox community, man. Go check out the podcast too. Once again, I appreciate you, Dirt, for coming through. Then we got Mr. No, he don't need no introductory. He's coming in the front door with it. What's up, Mav? How you doing, bro?
What is up? Can you hear me okay? Because I was having some issues getting in here, but
I can hear you.
I can hear you. You sound a little far away.
Are you in the bathroom?
Yeah, I'm in the bathroom right now.
Good.
No, I'm not. I'm not in the bathroom. I'll keep messing with my settings, but yeah, it's good to be here. Looking forward to the show. It's awesome to have Dirt and 3-Bit here as well. And let's get into it, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Make sure you wipe twice, man. All right, it's all good, brother. Don't worry.
I wipe more than twice.
Okay,
and wash
good,
your
good.
hands. God damn it.
If you have a bidet, use it. That's all. That too. No, shout out to Mav coming live, man. Appreciate you, bro, for coming through. You guys know the FSP love is always in chat, always here, man. That's the cousin, my partner here at the Shop Podcast as well. But let's move on to my brothers, man. The two men that go ahead.
Better? Is that better?
Oh yeah. That's way better, man.
Okay,
way
cool.
better.
Thanks.
He's out the bathroom, y'all. He's finished.
Man.
Yeah.
That was quick.
I didn't hear a flush. I didn't hear any washing.
I didn't hear it.
I love some floaters for you.
Appreciate you coming through, Bav, man. But yeah, my brothers, man. Like I said, man. Like as we celebrate this show, this is one of the things that I want to highlight as well. These two gentlemen, sticking with me all year, man. They make the show what it is. What's up, Pong? How you been, bro?
Man, you didn't even need me. I was out shopping and getting stuff done.
I need
and
you. What do you mean?
We look at all these people. Look at we got Dirt here. Dirt can handle a whole show by himself, guys. I mean, come on, man. We got Dirt here. Dirt, it's been too long, brother. Great to hear your voice.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Been ultra busy, but I'm doing all right. I am here and I'm happy. We got 3-Bit in the house, a rare 3-Bit sighting. Everybody take screenshots because you don't see this too often on shows anymore. And of course, the brother from another Mav showing up, whose voice I hear all the damn time in my dreams and nightmares. Let's go. No, it's good to be here. I was out shopping and we got hit by some ice, so driving got a little sketchy. Yeah, it wasn't planning on it. It was like this fine mist, and then it turned into road ice, so everything got slowed down. So I was coming in hot, but I'm here. What a time, man. I missed you guys last weekend. Obviously, it was good to get a time off, but I miss doing the show. But it is a holiday, so it's great to be back here again, doing what we do best, which is talking. And we got a lot to talk about. Steele and I had a 5.5 hour show this morning. Man, shout out to Steele. We covered the entire 2023. Yes, entire 2023 list of games, just to remind people of what actually happened in 2023. It was incredible. We had some good discussions this morning, but it's good to be back. Gaming wise, I've been all over the place. I picked up Warriors of Orochi 4 Ultimate like Dirt. I'm going back 3 years and I'm like, I got to play some Musou Fighter, man. I need a new Musou Fighter. So I picked that up on sale this past week. So I've been rocking out on that. I picked up Saints Row on sale. It's not Saints Row, but I played it when it was free to play weekend. And if you don't think of it as Saints Row, if you just think of it as an open world game to screw around in and have a good time. Yeah, but it ain't Saints Row, Dirt. It ain't Saints Row.
That's some truth there. That's some truth there. I finished it. There's some truth
Did you?
there.
Yeah. So I picked that up. I've been playing that. Been rocking Dragon Age Origins again, going back to the 360 prime BioWare, peak BioWare. Just having a good time replaying Dragon Age Origins again. Otherwise, Kingdoms and Castles, a little city builder, $15 indie title, smaller team that made that. It's been on PC. Kingdoms and Castles, if you guys are looking for a light city builder, not a deep city builder, just a light city builder to chill out to while you listen to podcasts or music or whatever you want to do in the background, this is the perfect game. And there's a lot worse ways that you could spend $15. Kingdoms and Castles is awesome, addicting as hell. You got dragons attacking you, you got Vikings attacking you. It's got the tower defense. You got to put up your tower defenses. I'm up to a population of near 3,000 on my first city. I'm pretty damn proud of myself, man. I'm feeling good. So that's been good, and rocked out a little bit of the finals last weekend with Steele and Mav. Yeah. We're having a good time on the finals. That is a great game. This is why I like free-to-play games, right? Because it gives you a chance to try the game. And if you like it and you want to support what they're doing, you can do so. And you can decide how much you want to support them. I actually gave Embark a little bit of money because I am so impressed with what they did. The DNA of Battlefield. You guys got to remember, Embark Studios, these are some of the devs that were at DICE during Bad Company days. And you can feel it. The balance, those clutch moments, right? Mav and I talked about this. The clutch moments, the destructibility is there. The ever-changing kind of playing field that you're playing. Man, what a game. What a polished game to come out the way it did. So happy for Embark because I'm looking forward to Arc Raiders as I believe
man.
PTK and Fuzzy and a
Oh,
lot of people on this
definitely,
panel
brother.
are. Arc Raiders is going to be big. Hopefully, this shows Embark knows how to make a game. So
Definitely.
I'm really impressed with the finals. So yeah, let's get down to business, PTK.
Absolutely. Shout out to you for coming through. We goddamn it, we did need you, brother. So I gotta make sure we need that energy, man. You never know, the train might come through tonight. You never know what's
you
gonna
just never know
happen.
what's gonna happen, man.
Yeah,
Choo choo,
we need that
motherfuckers. By the way, choo choo.
Shout out, man. We need that train coming through tonight, but appreciate you, Pong. Always bringing that energy, man. We cannot not have that here at the Shop Podcast. It's part of our DNA, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody coming through as well. Some quick shout outs, Poison, Louise. I see you, Caitlin. I see you, Jasper, lurking. Got the FSP love in the chat already. Amid everybody hanging out. Crispy, thank you guys for coming out, man. But last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Bear over there. How you been, brother?
Been doing, can't even talk. Been doing pretty good. Glad to be here with you guys. Just been, relaxing. Family's on vacation these weeks, so just chilling with them. But for the most part, enjoyed the holidays. Boys hooked me up with a gift card to Steam. So I've been buying up some of the games that are good for like a Steam Deck and stuff like that. So wound up, even though I know it's in Game Pass, I still picked up. I picked up Hades now, so I have it on PC as well. Sifu on PC, and then what do you call it? Vampire Survivors, and then I also picked up like 6 Days of Fallujah and a couple other games. So I'm pretty happy right now with those.
Nice.
But man, this has been an awesome year, and so much to talk about today. So let's get into it. Can't wait.
Let's dive into it, man. Like you said, we got a bunch to talk about here. And I really didn't have I tried to make a format for this show today. Then I thought about, you know what? We got so many talented people coming on the show that I don't even need to do that. Like, I don't need to do that at all. Like, let's just rock. Let's just get into it. And the energy it'll take is exactly where we need to go. And getting started with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Adidas Zero. He said, Dirt, Fuzzy, and Pong, what's up? What's up, Adidas? Shout out to you
What's
for the
up,
$10
bro?
super chat, bro. Appreciate the love, man. If you guys want to do that, continue to super chat, donate, things like that. You guys are awesome. And then also a member for 3 months. What's up, Adidas? Appreciate you as well, bro. Thank you for that. But let's get into it, man. 2023 was a phenomenal year. In my opinion, the best year in video game history of all time, in my opinion, just from beginning to end. And I kind of want to start there, just get everybody's quick overview of 2023 as a whole. You guys may not, agree as far as it being the best year ever, but we'll figure that out here tonight. And we're going to start with you, Dirt, OG on the show here at the Shop Podcast. But what was your kind of like, if you were to define, if somebody was to say, well, define 2023 in video gaming for you, like how would you go about defining 2023 for you?
Well, if you think about the year 2023, in the gaming industry, it was a crazy year, man. Now, if you just want to talk about the games, that's one thing. But the year 2023 for gaming, as far as news and things going on in the gaming industry, was bananas. One of the most craziest years I can remember, referring to the FTC trial, the ABK acquisition, CMA blocking the deal for Spoken, Redfall. There's so much stuff we could talk about in 2023. But if you just want to focus on just the games, I thought it was an incredible year. Excuse me, for gaming. As far as the year got off to a great start with Hi-Fi Rush. Love that game. Hogwarts Legacy. I didn't finish it yet, but that's a phenomenal game also. Just like throughout the years, and there were a steady flow of pretty damn good games throughout the year. Of course, Starfield dropped this year. Even a surprise game that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did, but like RoboCop, I loved it. I love the game.
That all over my timeline lately, man. It's like people have, like discovered it all of a sudden or something.
Yeah, but I bought it. I hesitated to buy it. I was like, am I going to like this? I don't know. Okay, I'll buy it, and loved it. Finished it. So yeah, it was a pretty damn good year. I don't really know too many more years off the top of my head. Like maybe Pong Soul does, because he knows everything. But I remember 2007 being a good year.
7.
Maybe some other years I can't think off the top of my head, but since 2023 is still fresh in my head, it was a very solid year, not just for the actual games, but just for the all of the news that happened this year.
I
bro.
was going to say you could even take it there too, Dirt, if you would like, because I mean, if we're talking about everything that happened, I think that's part of what makes this year so interesting, and why I think outside of just gaming, because I mean, from a gaming standpoint, you already hit the nail on the head. It was consistency, it was quality and quantity at the same time. I can't remember in a year that we've had so much quantity and quality like all meet up. You know what I mean? We usually get one or the other, a lot of one or the other. But usually not a whole lot of both at the same time. This is one of the few years that it's felt like every month we got like a game of the year game. And you could literally look at the calendar, go back and pretty much pick one game a month, say, okay, that probably could have been nominated. And I can't remember it ever being a year like that.
Yeah, that's a fair point, man. Like even when it comes to the Game Awards and the Game of the Year nominees, you think about it. I can't hate on any of those games that was nominated. Maybe like personally, I felt the Resident Evil 4 shouldn't have been nominated, but at the end of the day, it was a damn good game because I really didn't finish the original Resident Evil 4 back in the day. So it was like I was playing a brand new game and it was dope. But yeah, man, it was just a solid year, just a fun year for gamers, and as an Xbox fan, it was a ups and downs, of course. We had our ups like Hi-Fi Rush. We had our downs, even though I enjoy Redfall, but when that game first dropped, it was a huge down.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Then of course the CMA blocking the deal was a big time down, and then we got back up when the deal was approved, and Starfield, and just seeing these games, Hellblade 2 being shown off at the VGAs. Oh my God, bro! So yeah, it was a damn good year, man.
Awesome. And it's funny because like as we kind of get into this, man, like all of us are going to have a little bit of a different opinion, but I think that's one thing that we're all going to agree on as far as when it comes, if we're just talking about the games, man, I can't remember a more stacked year. Like you said, 07, 16, 18, maybe there's some years in between there that you might be able to stack up against, but from just a like consistency standpoint, it's hard to pick, bro. And then you got all the crazy shit, like you said, all of the drama and like tabloid shit that never happens, right? Like the ABK deal, the leaks, and all. I mean, you got to include all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff that was revealed during the ABK deal. So
yeah, oh my God,
that all into one thing. Like
crazy.
This has been a historic year, Dirt. Like we've never, ever had things happen like this, good or bad, right? Like we've had things happen that like we would like to take back. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, bro, like if you throw it all in there, it's never really been a year. This year has been extremely unique, chat. Like from a game standpoint and from just the drama and the news outside of that. So let me throw this over to you, 3-Bit. Kind of get your opinion. Kind of piggyback off Dirt, bro. Like it's been a crazy year. But like if you're looking back for you, kind of what sticks out, what's going to define 2023 for you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, 2023 was defined by the best year in gaming, in my opinion. Just so many amazing titles that came out this year. You had the shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush, and I was a part of the team that brought the dev direct to life, and that team, being Tina Amini. They're in good hands for like future directs, and like that itself was a surprise. And then you had Starfield, which is everything I wanted it to be, and more.
Facts.
Despite that bandwagoning that's kind of going on with
it's still going, by the way, mind you.
Still going.
The bandwagon is still alive.
When did that game come out? Like September. It's still happening.
It's crazy, man. The hate is crazy.
It's insane, bro. I've never seen that in for any game, bro. In the history of me playing video games, it's crazy.
It really is, because I had that post I think a couple days ago where I was talking about like, hey, you have 800 hours and you still hating on that game. It is what it is. But then like you had like Hogwarts Legacy, for example, and it made me feel like I dropped straight into the Harry Potter universe. It had an incredible amount of detail within the castle and the missions, and then like Diablo 4, for example, and that was the first Diablo I actually completed and got to play.
I forgot to even mention that one, bro.
That's crazy. That's how good of a year it's been, Dirt. That's what I'm trying to. It's been that good, bro.
It's just absolutely insane. I mean, I played that with most of the people in here, and they helped me beat it. I was struggling a little bit, and I appreciate y'all. And it's just overall an insane amount of games came out this year, and not that's just the games. And then we had a bunch of news because on Mav's channel and everybody else, we like to speculate, right? Like what is happening, what is going to happen within the next few years, what's coming up. And then we had ABK that brought itself, it brought a bunch of speculation like, okay, what is ABK going to do in the next few years? Are they going to drop games at the Game Pass? When are they going to do it? What are they going to do with their other studios, like their survival games, stuff like that? I mean, we had the Insomniac leak, which we can't talk about, apparently. That's the one thing we can't talk about. We had, with all that stuff with the Leapfrog thing, just a lot of interesting stuff that happened this year where I could really define it to be one of the best years in gaming. It just had something for everybody. It really did. We'll see how 2024 tops it, but for me, I'm eating pretty good this year. I still haven't completed Starfield. I'm kind of like taking it slow with Starfield.
Me too.
I've been I just been doing like side missions. I'm kind of just like role playing a lot in that game where I'm just like I'm just walking around, I'm stealing stuff, we'll see when I end up beating it, but for now it might take me a long time to beat that game. I can see how people are reaching those high hours in that game, but overall,
wait, 3Bit. Let's go back for a second. You just said you're role playing in an RPG. What are you talking about?
You playing it backwards?
My God! They actually made a game where you can do what you're supposed to do, which is role play. Holy shit!
Bro.
Amazing.
It's almost like it was almost made for it. Like,
it's crazy, isn't it?
There's so many options in Starfield. It really is insane when I see people's like different clips on what's possible in Starfield. I feel like people are still figuring out certain things you can do in Starfield. It's just one of those games that is going to last for quite a while. You could have all the hate you want for that game, but it's just the game that keeps on giving. Like it's so detailed, and it's why my love for Bethesda games, I believe Pong also definitely shares a sentiment. Like they live for a long time just because of the freedom that they give you, and you don't get that with any other game. Like
bingo.
It's Bethesda games are just incredible to me because how ambitious they are. They're ambitious in another way. Like you have all these other games where they tie you to certain experiences, but Bethesda's kind of just like, here's like a playground. We'll tie some things together. Like here's some missions, but kind of complete it how you want. And you don't get that with a lot of games. So that's why I never really understood all this
disconnection though. 3-bit.
Yeah. Where they say like it's outdated when you have, I don't understand how like certain mechanics be outdated when you have like Sony doing a very similar formula for the past like 4 or 5. That's another thing. But I don't think a genre could be necessarily outdated. It's just how you do it. Every studio has their own DNA for how they do stuff. But I'm going off on a tangent. But I love Bethesda so much. I love how they did Starfield. That's why this year in particular, I thought it was like a really special year for gaming for me, just because the amount of amazing stuff we got this year is just insane. Absolutely insane.
Awesome. And by the way, we did get a train to come.
Well. Guess what? Choo motherfuckers. It's that time of the year, chat. It's that time of the year. And you know who showed up tonight? You know who showed up? Cedric H showed up. And he said, you know what, everybody? I'm going to keep the Shop Podcast ad-free to N23 so we don't have to have ads. Your goal on this channel, you know what? I haven't even done a shop goal, but we'll start it here. Your goal for this channel is going to be 1,000 come 2024. So Cedric H wanted to make sure that we started off right. And since we didn't have a goal, you know what? I'm going to be nice to you, chat. I'm going to count this towards your goal for 2024. So that's right. 990 is your goal to make sure that we don't have to have ads interrupting all this beautiful talk, that we don't have to be promoting coffee and doing those types of things, because nobody likes that, folks. Nobody likes that. So Cedric H comes in with a 10 bomb. He does an easy layup and gets the hype train rolling. We are at Mach 2.5 to start the Shop Podcast. Let's go, everybody. Choo motherfuckers. Thank you, Cedric H, for your contribution to your goal. We appreciate it here. And Don't forget, folks, if you like what you're hearing and you're just sitting here and you can't do a layup, that's okay. Hit that like button. That helps us as well, along with sharing it on out. Thank you so much for dropping on by. Choo choo. Let's go, motherfuckers.
Let's get it, man. See, I can't miss that. That wouldn't have been here if you weren't here. So there's no way we
That
could
is
do
true.
shows without that at all. See,
That is
look. So shout out to you, Cedric, for coming through, getting the train started, man. Shout out to Chad, all you guys for coming through. You guys are fucking awesome, man. But let's throw this over to Mav, man. Mav, and I know you being, a co-mayor of Speculation Town, 2023 has been a whirlwind over there at FSP, man. So many videos, so many podcasts. But what's something that you can look back on? Like, what is it? If somebody asked you, like, what's 2023 for you, Mav, when it comes to gaming? Like, how would you define it?
I think I define it with choo choo motherfucker. I think that's probably the defining moment of 2023.
That's a good point.
I think when in the long run we'll look back at 2023 and we'll remember three things, right? One of the greatest years ever in gaming. We'll remember ABK, and then we'll remember the biggest leaks ever in gaming, and not just one but three, right? Because you had the GTA thing, right? You had the Xbox stuff, and then you had Insomniac.
Yep.
Like, it'd never been leaks as big as these before when it's come to like actual like industry stuff and like seeing games like really early and all this kind of stuff. So the leaks are huge. The ABK news dominated the year all the way through until it ended up closing like I think late September or somewhere around there. And then for the games, like for the defining moment for me is the fact that we got a Diablo, a Baldur's Gate, and Starfield in the same year.
That is crazy when you say it like that.
Is nuts. I mean, just those three games alone, I could live on those for an entire year. Now you add all that, you add all the updates to all the existing games, you add all the multiplayer stuff. A game just randomly comes out at the end of the year called The Finals that is absolutely awesome as well, and I think it's going to have long legs to it. Like, there's just so much awesome stuff that happened this year. Great games. Some of them don't get the respect they deserve. Some games were overhyped, but all in all, at the end of the day, you look back and it was just nonstop awesomeness. One of the craziest years for gaming conversation because of all the things going on as well.
Yeah.
Like, there was like something to talk about every week. You had great showcases too, right? Besides PlayStation, they sucked ass. Their shows were horrible. Besides PlayStation's shitty ass shows that didn't deserve to exist, everybody else knocked it out of the park this year. Like, Xbox had numerous shows. They even stole the Game Awards at the end of the year as well. Like, it's just, if you're a gamer and you're like an enthusiast of the hobby and you're like looking forward to like awesome news and awesome things to talk about and things to look forward to, there was just nonstop stuff this year, and from the games to the ABK acquisition and then to the leaks. It's just insane, man. And I think that kind of added, I think all of the news and all these other things kind of added to the element of 2023 feeling like one of the biggest years ever in gaming. So the question is like, what happens in 2024? And we'll have to wait and find out, but I think it's got a chance to live up to 2023.
Awesome. Great point too. And I think, and like I said, Mav, the one thing that we all can agree on, and I think we've all said 3-bit dirt, you so far, the game from a gaming standpoint, it didn't really get any better. There's no year that I could really think of, Mav, that was as consistent as this year, bro, on top of all of the insane like left field shit. You just brought it up, bro. Like, people forget, like, we didn't really have a downtime at all. From like a content creator standpoint, Mav, like we didn't really, there was no like, oh, well, what are we talking about this week? Right?
Oh,
like we really
nonstop.
didn't have that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, even all the PlayStation podcasts are talking about Xbox all year because there's so much Xbox news and like gaming news in general. I mean, there's just so much stuff to talk about. It's crazy. Like, and a lot of us, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, PTK, like in Dirt, you too, man. But like, a lot of us got into this podcasting thing in like 2020 and stuff like that, kind of when it was COVID and we're experimenting with different things and stuff. So I've been doing this over 3 years now, and it's like every year's gotten a little bit more insane. you know.
Yeah, fact.
But I think it's just gonna keep getting bigger and crazier. Like Pong was saying early on, you know, the golden age of gaming, right? And I
Oh,
think we had
definitely.
some stumbles along the way to get to that point to where we're really seeing it. But now, like you look back at what we got in 2023, and I think a lot of people would have a hard time arguing that we're actually in that era.
So I gotta ask you our three guests before we get to Pong and Fuzz a quick question. What is it? So is this the best year that Xbox had under Phil so far?
I would say yeah.
I would
Under
agree.
Phil, yeah, I would say
agree.
yes.
I would say this is the best year.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a year where we can clearly see where the roadmap is going, and every like from now on, you know, it's just going to be game after game, and
Yeah.
I think
No more
it's
droughts.
the year. Yeah.
No
No
more
more
droughts.
droughts, and I feel like it's the year where we can kind of see the fruits of
Yeah.
what Phil has been laying out for so long.
It feels like everything came together, right? Like the vision finally started to get clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you saw what I mean. We saw what their plan was early on, but you know, I think there was obvious issues and delays with a lot of things because of COVID and all that stuff, and everything kind of got pushed back like 16 to 18 months or whatever with the vision. But last year you saw a lot of that stuff like finally hitting, and once it started, there's no stopping. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's just no stopping it now.
I agree.
And it's also
Oh, I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
no. All I was going to say is just this is the first time where Microsoft is like kind of fully backing Xbox. Also,
Good point. Yeah. Mhm.
and before Xbox had like 3 studios. Now they're up to
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Lord.
Crazy.
Oh, I don't. Good Lord. That was as recent as what, 2016? Was that
2017.
2017? Was
Yeah,
when they
17.
first bought that first batch of studios?
That was 2018 when they first
Yeah.
batch.
Oh, so 2017.
That
yeah, you're
was
right.
only 5 years ago.
It's
Bro.
crazy.
Yeah. You know, but the thing is, Phil had to rebuild this brand, man, and to see it's finally coming to fruition after, you know, like there were sacrifice years like 2022 with no first party games. There were some slow years towards the end of the Xbox One gen, but he had to do that. You know, he had to rebuild the brand. Like 3-Bit just said, 5 studios in 2017, bro, to what, 40 now?
Yeah.
It's been 5 years. It's ridiculous. It's crazy if you really think about it, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think, I mean, obviously we highlighting the year as a whole, but like Xbox, that's one thing they've dominated this year. I mean, it may not be like hardware sales, things like that, but from just a talking standpoint, you know, and this is just outside of the numbers. I don't even need to look at the numbers and know that like they were the driving force of the industry this year. And I think, you know, that's one of the things Mav highlighted as well too, right? Like this is one of the few years you could feel Xbox really push. They moved the industry this year. Now, some people will argue, well, where did they move it? But like, I think all of us here on this panel understand what I mean by they were out front this year specifically. They were they had the biggest talking points. You can argue the biggest game from just a like metric standpoint. Like people still talking about Starfield. Everybody says it's a bad game, but nobody's stopping talking about it. Like everybody's still talking about
Well,
it.
to be fair,
And still playing it.
PTK, if you
Yeah.
know, but like to be fair, these people played it for over 450 hours. So, you know, if they feel it suck after 400 hours, I mean, I guess they're
What
right.
can you
right?
say? Right? That's a pretty thorough review. After
What
400
a horrible way to spend your time doing something you hate.
Right.
400 hours. Like I still, as somebody left a comment on our channel and like, I don't understand how you can criticize gamers who don't like Starfield. I'm criticizing somebody who spends 400 hours doing something they hate. That's just a horrible decision. How are you going to do that? Like, why? Why put yourself through that? Like, would I play God of War for 400 hours and I don't like it? No.
Never.
I play it for 3 and I'm like, I'm bored and I stop because I hate misery. I don't want to put myself through that. Why?
It reminds me of the people who eat a lot at this like fancy restaurant, and then they eat the whole thing, and then they're like, I want a refund, and then they just finish with their plate.
Yeah, the steak was
That's
colder.
That steak was cold, and you ate the whole
Terrible.
thing.
Ate the whole
That's what it
thing.
reminds me of, honestly.
Terrible.
I think it just goes into this sort of mentality where you can't enjoy something because someone else is not enjoying it, or your friend is like saying this about this game and it's not popular to
Yeah.
like a certain thing or have
Yeah.
your own sort of thought.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's what it kind of goes into, because there's no way I will be playing a game for, this is what I was saying in my post, more than like an hour to 2 hours if I don't enjoy it, much less 800 hours, you know.
Yeah.
To basically play something for 800 hours and you say, oh, I'm not enjoying this experience, this game is kind of trash, to me is this kind of disingenuous.
Oh no, you
bet.
know what? That's not even a rare thing. The entire Destiny community feels that way, right? Like that's not even a rare thing, as rare as we might think it is, right?
It's like Starfield's achieved something else as a single player game
It's
that no other
crazy.
single player game has achieved, with like people having these. It's almost like they think of it as a games of service or something. I had
Right.
somebody leave a comment saying like, you know, I gave it my 160 hours just to try it out, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm like, that's 8 Spider-Mans. What
Right.
are you doing? You're like,
Just to
Crazy.
try it out. But
Shit.
don't forget, guys, they hated on this game. There was a hate campaign before the game released.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there
forget
really was.
that.
the ball.
If you guys look at the some of the videos that kind of launched for the Starfield Direct, I just remember before the stream would start, you kind of look at people's reactions to it, like, oh, this game, it was always a prove me mentality.
Yep.
with this game, with
Yep.
the media and a lot of people, because this game is not on their preferred platforms, and oh, you got to prove me something, this game has to exceed my expectation, rather than just it being like, you know, an interesting game.
And it's crazy because 3-bit, we've never had a game like Starfield. What the hell are you comparing it to? What expectations are you have? We never had a game like Starfield. What are you comparing it to? Like, well, so
I'll tell you what they're comparing it to. PTK is they're comparing it to all those wrong comparisons people made before the game came out to No Man's Sky and stuff like that, right? Like, that's why a lot of us were like, stop comparing it to that, because it's just not that kind of game. But then what did you see in all the complaints when the game came out? It was, oh, it's missing this, which is like a No Man's Sky thing, or it's missing this, which is like a No Man's Sky thing. People had this like perception in their head that it was just a completely different kind of game, and ignored all the things that Bethesda and Todd Howard and all this stuff were trying to tell everybody it was. And
Yeah,
all the
it's just
information was
weird,
out
though.
there. And it was like Destin Legary. He was like, well, I don't understand why people keep getting upset that I keep comparing this game to No Man's Sky. I like No Man's Sky. I was like, because it's not like No Man's Sky, dude. It's like, what? It's not that kind of game. It's an RPG. Like, it's a Bethesda RPG. So was a lot of like wrong expectations that people had in their head about what Starfield was. I think they're thinking Star Citizen, No Man's Sky, and all that stuff. But no, it's a Bethesda RPG through and through, and that's like what they call the tired formula at the end of the day. So why would you not hear Todd Howard say time and time again, this is a Bethesda RPG. This is a Bethesda RPG through and through, like over and over and over.
People are punishing,
you know?
Bethesda for being. They're punishing a Bethesda game for being a Bethesda game. It's so weird
Well,
to see.
it's just the convenience of it all. But I'm gonna get to my fellas here too. We want to make sure we get to round out everybody here. But Pong, great person. Since we talking about Starfield anyway, kind of great segue, right? Just 2023. You kind of heard our takes, and we've talked about it coming up, leading up to this show, and what's this year meant for us individually. And like I said, I mean, I think we've talked about it previously. That I think you might be on the same boat as me. It's probably the greatest single year in video game history. But including all the drama, and if you take all of that stuff, throw it in a pot, like what is that for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's made fantastic points here. There's, I don't know how much different I can say it. So for me, I mean, 2023 is probably the greatest all-time year. I've sat and thought about the other years. I've gone through some lists and tried to figure out, if it actually does top it. But I got to say, for me, it does, because I got not one, but I got 2 generational games, right? So my favorite team in the entire world, my favorite dev team in the entire world, Bethesda, came through and exceeded my expectations personally for Starfield, right? The more I play, the more I play Starfield, the better it gets for me. I'm the opposite of these other people who are playing for this amount of time. Again, I've got about 350 hours in, not even haven't touched the main missions, haven't touched the side missions. I'm role playing, as 3-bit pointed out, a space pirate. And I'm loving every second of it. So I got a generational game for me. This is a game that I'm going to be playing for years and years to come. They're going to evolve this game. So that would already make this a fantastic year for me personally. But then along comes Larian Studios with a CRPG and takes CRPGs to the stratosphere. It says, you know what? Everybody said CRPGs are dead. Everybody said that, that kind of turn-based RPGs are way long in the tooth. They're now niche. Nobody plays them anymore. They're not a big deal anymore. And said, you know what? We're going to develop along with the community over years and years a game that is going to take that genre to a whole new level. And that's exactly what they did. And again, I got, 60, 70 hours in. I'm still in the first sector because that's what I do. The first part of the game, because that's what I do. That's how I play those games, but way beyond anything I thought I was going to get this year. I had kept my eye on it, but I hadn't touched it. And so when it finally, I bought it in early access about a week or 2 weeks prior to full launch, once I got my PC and stuff, and I decided to make that commitment before Starfield. And when I got into that game, my mind was blown with what Larian did. So I got 2 generational games. So right there, you're already talking about an unbelievable year. But then the thing that we always talk about, you get your Forzas in there, you got your stuff like that. Redfall didn't hit, but that's okay, because there was so many other things that came out that were good to great. And that's the difference in these types of GOAT years. You will have years where there are, 1, 2, 3, 4 really great, outstanding games that people absolutely fall in love with. But when you fill it in around it with a plethora, and again, Steele and I read through the entire list from January to December, there is a whole nother year worth of games for me that I haven't touched, I haven't purchased. They're just sitting there waiting for me to play because that's how much I forgot about. But games like Hogwarts to start out the year, not a super Harry Potter fan here, folks. Yes, I watched all the movies. That's when my kid was growing up. I read a couple of the books, but they were not my style of fantasy. I like high fantasy, but Harry Potter's fantasy light to me. So I'm not attached to Harry Potter like that. But Hogwarts Legacy came out of nowhere from a dev studio that has no business making a game of that size, of that scope, of that detail, of that greatness when you look at their past history of what they've worked on. And yet they did, and it came out fantastic and just an absolute blast experience. And then we got another game this year like Remnant 2. Out of nowhere, I played the first Remnant. I liked the first Remnant. I thought it was cool, but it was a Souls-like game. I got to a point where I was banging my head against the wall playing single player. So I just stopped. So wasn't expecting this huge thing, but the more we saw of it, the more excited I got, and I purchased it day one, played it both single player, but played a lot of it with Steele and Jasper, wound up beating that game, and that game is one of the most creative games, narratively speaking, that I've played in a very long time. And again, that just filled in. That became my dark horse for game of the year. I think in any other year, it might have won more awards, but it's games like that surprised people. Alan Wake 2. Yes, people were excited about Alan Wake 2.
Late in the year, too?
I'm not. Yes, exactly. This is what I'm saying. This was a year-round kind of deal that happened because Nintendo was dropping games all over the place for Nintendo fans. They got Tears of the Kingdom. They got Mario Brothers Wonder. But Alan Wake 2, people liked Alan Wake, but it was a cult phenomenon. It wasn't a huge seller when it came out on the 360. I love the original Alan Wake. I'm not going to play Alan Wake 2 because they went way too horror for me. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I don't have a problem with it. The fact is, though, that Remedy, with a budget that now looks minuscule compared to what AAA games are spending, takes Alan Wake and makes that another phenomenon at the end of the year. Alan Wake 2 comes out and blows everybody away. Again, I can talk about this year with games that I didn't even touch or even play. That's how great a year this was. That's how much conversation there was going around it. And I think, 3-Bit brought up a great point. Besides the gaming, again, this gaming year in general, we are seeing massive change within this industry right now. We're seeing a bunch of different things kind of going on at the same time with this industry that's going to kind of shape it going forward, right? And with the ABK deal finalizing, the biggest game in gaming industry history, or the biggest purchase in gaming history, right? The biggest purchase for Microsoft in its history. that is historic right into itself as far as the gaming, because it shifts the playing field. It adjusts because of where Microsoft wants to go, where Xbox wants to go with their gaming division. This gives them all the tools to push forward. Now, like everybody was saying, they were all in. There's no way Satya makes a bid of $70 billion unless he's all in. But they got it completed despite all the regulatory bodies trying to stop them in the way, right? Now, I didn't say all, but I'm just saying the big ones were trying to stop them. They got through that. Now that shapes the future even more. So from a bigger standpoint, from an RTS view, as Steele likes to say, from a satellite view, you're talking about a historic moment that we all got to witness, that we were all here speculating on, talking about for nearly over 2 years, right? We were here talking about this deal, and it's finally culminated this year. That, again, adds to the flavor that we got in 2023. And I think that flavor is absolutely delicious. And I think that there is, it's going to be hard pressed for other years to come along. I do think, Mav and I talked about this on Thursday, 2024 has got a chance.
Definitely.
We just, right now, the blockbuster first party titles from everybody aren't lining up next year, but we don't know what Nintendo's going to do. They could launch the Switch 2, etc. I'm getting ahead of myself anyways, but 2024 has got a chance, I think, to match or come close to topping this year. But overall, as I look back, 2023 definitely is the GOAT for me in terms of video gaming. It is a great example to use when I say it's the golden age of gaming, because if you run through that entire list, I can guarantee you there are so many games that you forget about. Again, RTS is coming back. Age of Empires 2 started off this year on console for me and Mav and those of us that love RTSs. It's stuff like that. It's all the little in-between stuff on top of the big stuff. And most of the big stuff all hit the way it was supposed to.
Yep.
That's what put this
That's a rare
over
thing
the
too.
edge. Yes.
That's another thing that I wanted to highlight as well. And I'm glad you fucking brought that up, Pong, because I did not want to miss that. Is that the quality across the board? We rarely get a consistent, like, high quality level. Like, all the games pretty much hit. Like, everything hit the way it should have, or even exceeded that. And then you got to think about all of those genres, like you said, that were essentially revived
Fighters,
in 2020.
RTSs,
Fighters came
strategy.
back. RTS.
My God,
There's a renaissance for all of these different genres, and it all happened at one time. You know what I mean? And just it's insane to think about. Then you throw in an extra layer, and Mav brought it up, and I'm glad he did. Chat was all the other shit, right? The ABK and the leaks and all the little juicy shit that you love, Mav, you and Pong love. You know what I mean? All of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's we may never ever see another year like this. You know what I mean? Like,
think about this, PTK. We had Dead Island 2, a game that was vaporware that passed hands through three at least devs, get a release, and it's one of the most polished games of the year. And this year is so big that people were loving the hell out of it. But when you go through that list, you go, oh, that's right, Dead Island 2 was this year. A lot of people still haven't touched it yet, right? One of the most polished games of the year, and some people have not even touched it yet, like myself. That's the type of year we just came through, and I don't think you can appreciate it until we get through and maybe 2024 hits the way I think it's going to. We won't remember it, but we get down the road. I think there comes a year where maybe not everything falls together, and then we're going to look back and go, oh my God, 2023 was a special year. Yeah.
That's 100%. A good point.
100%.
Perspective, hindsight is always 2020. So yeah, I think looking back, when we do get one of them years, we'll look back and be like, God, we was eating good that year. Like, I know we was complaining, but we was really, really eating
good. New IP too. Lots of new IP. We got Liza P came out of nowhere and gave people a ton of. It's every month. Really is. It's a
game
year.
Like Remnant 2 took a big leap as well.
Yes, Remnant 2 was huge. But again, it hit on all cylinders this year. There was some misses, but those misses were so far and few between that you don't even remember most of them most of the time, unless it was a game you were looking forward to. Like, it's just one of those years.
Facts. So let's throw this over to you. I got a question for the entire panel, but I want to let Fuzz get his bars off first. So Fuzz, man, 2023, brother, was a big year. We've kind of as the years gotten closer and closer to the end, we've kind of gotten this conversation a little bit more and a little deeper every single week. So now that we're at the end of the year, looking back, like I stated, hindsight is always 2020. What is 2023 for you, brother? Like, in a gaming in general.
Well, before I start with the awesomeness that 2023 delivered, I'm gonna say one thing that was like the low mark or the downside to 2023, and it was kind of like the late news that we got, I guess, kind of recently, although we kind of knew it was inevitable, was the finality of E3. It's officially dead, moment of silence kind of thing. I think that's about the only low point as far as that has an effect beyond 2023, or at least some, semblance of like what we remember in gaming in general. We always used to look forward to E3, and that's about the only bad news. Well, I won't say the only bad news, but the bad news that stood out the most to me was E3 being pretty much a closed shop, final rights kind of thing. But
And the layoffs
outside
and
of
closures too.
The
right,
layoffs,
Fuzz?
yeah, layoffs too.
and
yeah,
closures.
layoffs
that-
and closures
Yep.
is another
Embracer
one.
Group's downfall is a big bad one too. So yep,
Mhm.
But-
agreed.
But I would say outside of those things, this has been a phenomenal year from every standpoint, whether you're into fighting games, racing games, RPGs, side scrollers, roguelites, every kind of genre showed up this year. Some of them had some bugs as far as at release, but I would say the bug part was probably more noticeable because of it being in, some of the bigger AAA titles. But outside of those AAA titles, we had a lot of good indies this year. One that kind of, I guess, didn't live up to some of the hype, but I still like it, was the Benedict Fox one.
Oh yeah.
Planet of Lana was another one. There's a couple other ones now. My mind's drawing a blank, but indies definitely showed up this year as well. The only one that kind of, I guess, missed the fold would have been Silk Song. But all in all, that will probably drop next year along with Replace, and those would be some big indies for next year. But as far as the AA and AAA games, they definitely showed up in a bigger fashion. Like Pong was saying, with Alan Wake 2, even though, yes, I would consider it more of a AAA, but it was like on the lower scale of spending in comparison. Like when you have some games spending 300 and some odd mil versus what they spent, I would say they definitely punched above their weight level kind of thing. When it comes to games that or IPs that I wouldn't have had any interest in, like when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy, was never into that. Never read the books, never watched any of the movies. It just wasn't my type of thing. But the fact that it was an open world, kind of like RPG-esque type of game, that was enough for me to, especially after seeing everybody played it, the FOMO was real on that one, and I gave it a try and I loved it. Haven't finished it. I've made it all the way to like the winter, season aspect of it, and it's pretty close to like the final act and stuff. But overall, put a lot of hours into that. The flying wasn't quite what I was expecting, but outside of that, the magic aspect, the combat was actually better than what I was expecting from that type of game. Like Pong had mentioned, like with Dead Island, that's a game that people didn't really expect much out of, and it kind of surprised them. The same could be said with RoboCop. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's one of those,
Yes.
movie IPs," and normally those aren't the greatest, but they definitely nailed that, the feel of RoboCop in that game. And
That's what I've heard too.
They definitely knocked it out of the park with that. I know some people may not have cared for it particularly, but Atomic Heart was a decent game. Maybe not as bombastic as some of the trailers showed, but overall, I think it was a nice change of pace from a smaller studio releasing something this year. And then, moving on to the bigger games. Sure, I know people want to point at, what do you call it? What was the Redfall? Like, with it not having, everything that they expected at launch. But once again, that goes to show how even if the game isn't all people are expecting at launch, the devs are sticking with games in more cases than not, with the exception of the day after, which we all saw that scam a mile away type of thing. But when it came to Redfall, may not have been everybody's go-to, but it definitely shows that, you know, Xbox is willing to reinvest and have their studios continue to support their games. And look at all of the additional content that a lot of these games have had throughout the year and will continue to have, you know, years on end. Like State of Decay 2 is still getting support, and I think that thing is what, over 5 years old.
Yeah.
We got the DLC for, you know, Cyberpunk this year, which, you know, they also, not just the DLC, but they not reimagined, but they reconfigured a lot of the things as far as like the skill trees and stuff like that. When you look at games like Starfield, like I'll be honest, was never into Skyrim. Tried Fallout 4 several times. It just didn't click with me. So I didn't have the biggest expectations for Starfield, although being a sci-fi fan, I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And it's the only game to this day that potentially, well, actually, it pretty damn near came close to me not playing Forza at launch. Like,
Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy.
As much as I'm into
That's
racing
crazy.
games, that game gripped me that much to the point where it was like, I'd rather play this and continue playing this than my first true love as far as gaming with racing games. Like, and I get it. It doesn't click with everybody, although the people that have played like 400 or 800 hours and don't recommend it, it's like, I don't know. Some people are sadomasochists or into that type of stuff. What is it, BSDM or whatever they call that stuff? It's like, if you want to be, you know, whipped and chained, more power to you. But you don't have to play the game if it's going to be repetitive, as pretty much every game has a game loop or some sort of repetitive loop, and it's not clicking with you after hour 10 or hour 100 or hour 200, and you're still going. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's almost like, what do they say when you expect something to change but it never changes? It's like a form of crazy or something.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's their form of crazy. It's like, maybe if they play it longer, the game will metamorphosize in front of them or something. But Starfield was a huge game, and I know a lot of people will call it game of the generation. I consider it game of the generation for several reasons. And the people that are saying, oh, it's not the game of the generation, constantly talking about it, that's part of it being the game of the generation. Like, if it's not something that's significant enough, why would you continue to talk about it? Why would you purposely write articles saying that you forgot about this game, but you haven't forgotten about this game? I mean, there have been some games that have come out this year that may not have hit the mark. Like, I think Forspoken was one of them. I think that came out earlier this year. But that one,
people definitely came out earlier this year.
People forgot about it, and like literally forgot about it. Like, they're not writing articles thinking about they forgot about it. No, they literally forgot about it. So much so that the team got disbanded. And then even Final Fantasy 16's team, I think, is getting reorganized because of it not reaching certain key, you know, I guess projections or whatever for Square. But this year has been above and beyond unusual in the sense that we're now seeing that Square Enix is, you know, in good terms or on speaking terms with Xbox again. We got to see what all of the acquisitions and all the work that the teams over at Xbox Studios and Bethesda have been doing. And we got to see an inkling of that this year. And I think the floodgates are going to be even bigger for next year. But overall, I can't say that there's been a game that I've been truly disappointed with. There have been some that have missed the mark for me, like Star Wars Jedi Survivor kind of missed the mark. But the fact that we got a Star Wars game this year and it was rated well, albeit a bit buggy, it's still a positive sign, especially considering EA, which I think they've canceled more Star Wars games than they've released. But the fact that game came out, it expanded on almost in every single way over the original. That's definitely a step forward. And I think we've seen a lot of games take additional steps to improve upon, you know, previous inclinations in you know, their series. And we've seen that with Forza. Forza imagined that whole engine as far as the handling aspect, and they nailed that. Now, not as happy with some of the content, but as that game goes on, like within 2 months, we already have 2 tracks. I think it took GT7 almost 3 years to get 2 additional tracks. So it's definitely on a good pace. But overall, like I can't stress this enough. Kind of like what we've all said with Pong with his the golden age of gaming, which you really should have had a T-shirt made years ago or earlier in the year.
Royalties would have gone crazy.
But yeah, this year, I would have to say, as far as my memory, the fact that if you were to ask me what are the 10 games that stand out, and I'm going to have a hard time narrowing it down just to 10, that should tell you that this has been a pretty good year. Anytime that you can say that there's been more than 3 games that you've played a number of hours and enjoyed, that's a pretty good year. But the fact that we've had so many in this year, I think, is a testament to how great this year was. But I do have a gut feeling that we might be in for an even bigger year next year. It's particularly on the Xbox and possibly PC side of things. But this was an awesome year. Every way you look at it, regardless of what platform you're on, there were games to play and a lot of enjoyable hours. Whether it's multiplayer, co-op, things along those lines. I mean, the awesome news we got, like, we do have word that they're working on a Division 3 after Star Wars, so that's positive news for me. We do know that there have been some leaks as far as roadmaps for certain studios and certain games and whatnot for the future, as well as just I guess you could say like the showcases this year, other than maybe the PlayStation State of Plays. I think even those have all taken a step, a big step in improvement. Like, you got to give it to Dev Directs as far as with Xbox and listening to their community and customer base for the format. They definitely improved greatly to the point where I think they now have like the perfect format moving forward. We saw, like, with even the award show, although the award show as an award show may not have been the best of that type of thing, but overall it was an awesome showcase. And the fact that there were some meaningful surprises that made their appearance there was awesome. But I've rambled enough. This year, hands down in my book, as far as gaming history is concerned, other than like the first time I turned on an Atari or a Coleco back in the early 80s, I would say this is my best year in memory for gaming in history.
Facts, man. Facts. So I love to hear that we all agree on that too, man. Because I was a bit, because I did see some discourse online about it, but I mean, ultimately, that's all subjective at the end of the day, man. But I do want to ask. I had a question for you guys here on the panel. You guys too, chat. And before I even get into that, I got a couple super chats. Let me get to that too. I don't want to forget anybody's super chat. We got Jax82 for the $1.99. He said Refrog Gaming is putting his lawsuit together
against me.
Terrible, right. And then we got another shout out to Web Dave for the $1.99 super chat. What's up, Dave? He said amazing PTK, Dirt, Math, 3-Bit, Pong, Fuzzy Legends, all fire. Shout out to you, Dave. Appreciate you, bro. I know he's lurking in here and chatting. And another $10 super chat from Adidas 20, killing it tonight. Appreciate you, bro. For all the love. He said the $1 trillion company that got rich off selling software, giving Xbox that formula. With the publishers and studios Xbox have, there will never be a no game issue again. 2024 will be crazy. Facts, big facts for sure, man. So shout out to all you guys. I got a question for you guys. Period. Right? And I like to ask these sometimes off the cuff questions that kind of throw everybody off. So I just want to know everybody's. So what game came out essentially that not punched above his weight, but like kind of blew you out of the water, like over exceeded your expectations. So I want everybody to give one game that exceeded your expectations, that came out and kind of blew you out the water, was even bigger and better than you thought. So I can already assume a few people here on panel, but we'll start with our guest, Dirt. What's the game that kind of exceeded your expectation?
Well, yeah, I already mentioned, I really feel that RoboCop kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. RoboCop Hogwarts Legacy because, like a couple other guys on the panel, I'm not into Harry Potter at all. I saw a lot of people praising the game. I said, you know what? Let me check it out. And it's a damn good game, man. It's a really good game. But I would say RoboCop, Hogwarts Legacy, those two games really stick out because not only did I not know anything about Harry Potter, really, I only saw like one of the movies, right? I'm not into the world at all. I really like the game. But RoboCop is that one that really just blew me away. Like, yo, man, I love the franchise, but of course, the franchise hasn't been around for years. I know they did a remake or whatever, but who cared about that one? But yeah, I would say RoboCop, man.
Okay, good choice. And once again, chat, let us know as well too. What game kind of exceeded your expectations in 2023? 3-bit, man. Where you at, man? I know it's kind of a last minute question here. So, what game exceeded your expectations this year?
Oh man, I really want to play RoboCop. I've been hearing a lot of good about that, and I'm a big fan of most James Cameron properties, honestly, Terminator, all that stuff. Definitely got to check that out. But for me, I would say it's Hogwarts. It was that one game I wasn't sure about. I'm like, how are they going to do wand combat? I haven't seen a single Harry Potter game in the past. Usually, I believe it was done by EA. Do it well. I couldn't picture good wand combat. So when I finally picked the game up and start playing, I'm like, wow, they have so many different spells. Like you can kind of experiment and choose different selections. Like you can have basically little set lists of spells where you can build, or you could have like different fire spells or things like that. I just wasn't expecting that much depth within a Harry Potter game. So for me, probably Harry Potter. That was just one game that really stood out to me. I was excited for it, but it just surprised me, the amount of detail that's in the Hogwarts castle and all of the depth of how you can build in a different world. Like it really rewards you for playing a long time too, because there's a lot of stuff that is introduced to you in the game like later on. Like you're like, what the heck, they're still giving me new stuff in this game. I think it's almost over, but I'm not sure. So that game definitely surprised me.
Awesome. I feel like Hogwarts is going to be high on a lot of people's lists as well too. So especially for this type of thing.
Hey, yo, PTK, can I say something right quick?
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat reminded me Dead Island 2 was another game I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did. I actually like Dead Island 2 more than Dying Light 2. Dead Island 2 was fire, bro. Wow.
Awesome. Okay. I think there might be a few people on this panel that agree with you. I didn't get a chance to play Dead Island 2. I loved 1. So that's another game that I probably need to jump into and go ahead and buy as well too. But Mav, bro, what game exceeded your expectations, brother?
Yeah, I do agree with the Dead Island one, because that game is really good. It's really polished. And at the time, remember, we were getting a lot of like Unreal 5 games that it came, or a few Unreal 5 games that came out, or Unreal Engine games in general that had co-op and were like had poor performance and all these kind of things. Like one of them was Unreal 4, which was Gotham Knights, had just come out, right?
Yep.
And Dead Island came out super polished, super optimized, and they really did co-op well. The difference, I guess, is that one's kind of zone-based open world instead of just fully open. But besides that one, I actually have to go and throw a bone to Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition.
Nice.
And because I expected it to be fun on console and all that stuff.
But Mav, it's 20 years old, Mav. You can't count that. It's not a new game, Mav.
That is exactly why, though, it exceeded my expectations, because they made that game feel new and fresh. And we talked about this when we were playing a lot of it early in the year. Like, we would be fine with this. Like, just constantly just keep updating this game. Like, it was they nailed the console controls so well that it's kind of transformed the game into something else. So I will have to say Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. And I would say Age of Empires 4, but that came out at a different time when there was so many other games that had just come out. So I didn't put as much time into it. But like, because of how old it is and what they did to it to make it feel fresh and new and look good and play great, definitely Age of Empires 2.
Nice. That's a good. Okay, so I guess I'll go. I'm gonna say there's two games. Obviously, Starfield being one, and I'll get into that in a second. But I'm gonna say Diablo 4 for me. And that's because I'm new to ARPGs. You guys know I just fell into that last year, right? So story goes, I went ahead and bought that Diablo 3, the Ultimate Collection, whatever that came with Diablo 2 Resurrected and some other game I can't remember. But I got into that, and Diablo 3 was great. But people were like, "You guys, even I enjoyed the game, but even Pong, you guys helped me kind of get into it and play through it. Even you guys were like, this isn't quite the experience that this isn't like what really Diablo could be, right? Like 3 was good, but you guys were telling me this isn't really what it could be, right? So 4 comes out, and it's everything that you guys told me Diablo was, and I really felt that playing the game. It's by far my most played game this year. It was my game of the year up until probably Starfield came out. So it was pretty much my game of the year all year. Well, once it came out, up until Starfield came out. So I say Diablo 4 for me, and then Starfield. Obviously, I'm 100% truthful here on this show. I was not really big into Bethesda games. I was not that guy. Man, Pong is the biggest fan. He knows that. I'm not. I wasn't, right. I didn't really understand what the draw was, right? Like I didn't understand why people felt the way they felt about Bethesda games, but Starfield, goddammit, made me realize once I dove in and it looked like a puddle, I jumped in and it was an ocean.
Yep.
Right. So that's kind of the experience for me being new to that genre as well too, and be given this is the first time I ever was given a game and they told me, well, go just play.
Right.
I'm like, tell me what to fucking do. Like I need
you were
objective.
Lost in the beginning, that
right?
was
Like
that was
tell me
classic.
something. Like tell me what to do. I need somewhere to point me. I'm so used to being guided and things being kind of linear and obvious, and me being able to sort shit out within like 8 hours. That this was new for me, right? So I think it being able to get me to jump in and stay in and really want to explore more and really find out what the game was about. It clicked for me. It was a light bulb. Like, oh, this is why people love Todd Howard, right? This is why fucking Pong has Todd Howard pajamas. This is why people love Bethesda. This is where that comes from, right? And so that was my first experience. So that was probably the two games that exceeded my expectations. But go ahead, Pong.
Yeah, no, I mean, I named off mine too. So obviously Starfield, as much hype as I had for it, as you just stated, again, being a huge fan, I was already over the moon for this game. And it did exceed my expectations. And so from that standpoint, that could be in here. Baldur's Gate 3 obviously blew me out of the water. I had, like I said before, had looked at it, had been keeping my eye on it, but didn't know what to expect from a CRPG. What Larian was going to do with this exceeded my expectations. But the third one that I had mentioned previously that I got to give is Remnant 2. Remnant 2, absolutely 1000%. The Gunfire devs over there stepped up to the plate. They had hit, to me, like a double the first outing. They hit a home run with Remnant 2. This game is, like I said, my dark horse for the game of the year. It is in my top 5 probably games of this year. Remnant 2 exceeded every expectation I had. Even when I bought it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump in. Just like I did with Remnant 1, maybe have some fun, maybe get Steel, maybe get Jasper, maybe get Mav, whoever. Maybe we'll have some fun with it. Never expected to run through the game the way I did, both single but mostly co-op, and finish the game and beat the end boss, which is one of the worst end bosses in history because it's so cheap. But that's besides the point. The entire game was a magical experience, one of the most creative narrative games that I have played in a long time. It's like a choose your own adventure, except you don't know where you're going. And when you walk through a portal and you're in a gold gilded castle with details that you can't believe, and you're walking around and you walk through a magic mirror and you wind up in a desolate wasteland with brand new enemies and all sorts of things to find. And there's so many secrets to this game. This game is extra special to me because of what the devs did in taking that next step that I always love to see when devs go back. They take that next step forward. There is a big future for Gunfire Games. I believe if they continue down this path, Remnant 2 has got to be the one for me this year.
Good choice. Good choice. All right, Fuzz.
This is going to be a bit of a tough one because there are some games that didn't expect much out of, and there's ones that I kind of expected more out of that didn't quite meet what I was expecting. For what, well, Starfield is definitely one I was not expecting much from, only because, like I said earlier, I not into Skyrim or anything along those lines. Really tried to click with Fallout 4, and Starfield. Pretty much, I think even if it wasn't for the sci-fi factor, I think I would have probably still enjoyed it as far as how it um, overall works, as far as the combat and things along those lines. But I think Starfield is the one leading the way. But there's one other one that it's not fully released yet, but it's like in early access on PC. And being a fighting game fan, particularly like boxing games and things like that, I would say Undisputed. Probably for me edges out Starfield just slightly, only because there were certain expectations where compared to like UFC 3, at least that was like the last one that I actually bought, and then the other ones are in EA Play. But they don't really have boxing, but they do have it where you can do almost like a boxing match. It's the stand and bang mode where it's just pretty much handwork. I think you can kick shins, but you can't do takedowns or anything like that. And based on all of the fun from that, I was like, well, it needs to at least exceed that. It needs to come close enough to Fight Night, the more recent one that was like, now I want to say, was it 7 or 8 years ago? And I think Undisputed at launch exceeded my expectations. They had a decent amount of rings or boxing ring match areas or locations. They had a decent amount of fighters, and since then they've added more locations, added more fighters. They've made a few adjustments to the combat. Initially it was fine, but then people would spam certain things, so they had to kind of counter that, and they went, I think, too far one way. But overall, I think when this is finally ready for console, I think people will be pleasantly surprised how good of a boxing game this is, as far as being able to slip or dodge punches and things like that, to be able to do different defense modes, to be able to knock someone out without having to just stun them or daze them type of thing. You can definitely do a lot of the stuff that you would love to do in Fight Night. This has it. Plus the visuals, in my opinion, are far better than what they've had before. Like they've done like more mocap than I think probably EA did back in the day, obviously. But yeah, I think that one, if you're a fighting fan and you don't have a PC, definitely keep an eye out for it for when it comes to console, probably in 2024. But it came out this January in 2023 on PC as an early access on Steam. If you don't mind spending, I think it's now like $30, or it might be on the winter sale for less. But if you don't mind spending that amount, I would say this is a worthwhile pickup as a boxing game. Just my 2 cents on it. But that's my oddball, better than expected game this year.
Okay. All right. It's a great damn list. That's a great thing about this year too, is that you guys see the variety in our choices as well. That goes back to our original discussion about why 2023 was, in our opinion here, at least tonight, is the best year in video game history. So I kind of want to start looking forward here, man. We've talked a lot about 2023, and as great as that fucking is, it can get better. That's the crazy thing about it, right? This shit might start happening every single year for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Who knows, right? Like once everybody gets, kind of on in their cadence, PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox PC as well too. So I want to kind of start to look forward here tonight, man. You know what I mean? So New Year's is coming up. Shout out to chat. Appreciate it, all of you people, for hanging out with us. Retweet the link, all of that good stuff. But we're gonna start with, I guess we'll start with you, 3-Bit, this time, bro. Just 2024. Looking forward, any particular game you're looking forward to, as well as kind of your overall expectations. We've kind of got into 2023, dove into that as deep as we could, but 2024 could potentially be just as dynamic, just as incredible. We don't know about the the news and all the crazy side stuff that happen. But as far as like a gaming video game standpoint, it could be almost on par. So where you at looking forward, man?
Hellblade.
Okay.
Hellblade 2. I'm definitely looking forward to. Hellblade is just one of those games where I didn't expect it to hit me the way it did. Just throughout the story, I remember just feeling very connected to the game, and the audio is still some of the best audio I've ever experienced in a video game, with the directional microphone they use, so basically simulate all the voices that are going on around you with someone who has a form of schizophrenia. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with a bigger budget, and because that was such a smaller team, but they still wanted to, like, we're a small team, how can we provide almost a AAA experience with just a few developers, and now that team has been extended, and they are super talented, and I'm looking forward to what they do on to an experience that's probably even 2 to 3 times lengthened than the first one. So that's a game I'm definitely looking at. I'm also definitely looking at Clockwork. That's one game that, you know, in Exile and that whole team, they're geniuses, and not only marketing and things like that, but they are. I'm looking forward to what Obsidian got and Exile and everybody.
Oh yeah,
I'm just wondering what's going to happen next year. We have so many games we know about in Xbox's pipeline, but they have basically a roadmap of what games are coming out, but they can start to put the pieces of when they release them. That's a good problem to have. If I was Phil, like, I have so many games, I wonder what games can I release this year, next year. You can hold games back, be like, okay, this game could be finished next year, but let's either push this further in the year, or let's push this earlier. They really have a good problem of having so many games in their pipeline. They could kind of just map the chess pieces together. So for next year, I mean, there's a lot I'm looking forward to next year, but Hellblade is definitely at the top of that list for me. Yeah,
it's a lot going, and I'm glad you touched on some of that stuff. It's a lot going on for next year, and like you said, man, a lot of interesting things. If you're looking at it from an Xbox perspective, like you said, it's, you know, the year could be even more dynamic next year. You know, we see the roadmap, and the key thing here is, like you said, they got a good goddamn problem to have, and it's been a long time. That Xbox, you know, you haven't been able to say that, you know, in a long time, you know. So
yeah, and then Nintendo too. I mean, they might have their console next
Switch
year,
2,
and
we might.
And something me and Mav, I feel like, are pretty that we relate to is we kind of miss Nintendo. You know, we there's things that Nintendo provides in gaming where they're not really focusing on the graphics. I want that graphical experience from their games a little bit. They're on this weak hardware, and I would love to for that hardware to be updated on a Switch 2.
Good luck with that, buddy.
Come out next year. Yeah, we'll see.
Good luck with that.
Anything. I'm thinking maybe they'll be if for the Switch 2, maybe it'll be akin to like a Series S, if anything. We'll see. We'll see. But
hopefully,
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Seeing whatever Nintendo has planned, if that does come out next year, because we do know that they are planning to support. Xbox is planning to support COD on Nintendo machines, and I wouldn't want to. If I was developing COD, I wouldn't want to do it on the Switch. So I'm sure they would want to develop that for the Switch too. So we'll see.
Definitely. Oh, and we got another train coming through, Pong.
Oh, yeah. Let's go, everybody. Chat, listen up. This is how easy it's done around here. That's right. That's how we get the layups going. We got a nice, easy 5 bomb from the one and only Sanchez MTZ Gaming, who says, that's right, we're going to get this down. That goal for January going forward into 2024 for January, we're under 1,000 already, but I'm going to make it a little bit easier with a 5 bomb coming in here. That's right. Wink, wink. This is the perfect time to get that hype train going. We are now at Mach 2.75 for the Shop Podcast, headed to 3. Start strapping up, getting ready, because we are on the move. Sanchez MTZ Gaming with the easy 5 bomb in here. Thank you, Sanchez MTZ Gaming. And don't forget, if you want to follow that up, if you were gifted a sub and you feel like giving back, we encourage that here on the Shop Podcast. Wink, wink. Let's do it, everybody. Choo choo, motherfuckers. Choo choo. Let's go.
Let's go. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you, Sanchez. Thank you for the gifted subs, man. Gifted memberships. Thank you for that. I appreciate it a whole lot. So let's keep this thing going, man. Going forward, I know 3-Bit, you got your bars off there, and I agree with a lot of that, brother. And like I said, specifically from the Xbox standpoint, it's a dynamic year going forward for them. They got a lot of momentum, and I think we're gonna see that continue. So Dirt, where you at, man? 2024, brother. It could be just as good, if not better, man. That's the insane part.
Yeah, like 3-Bit said, as an Xbox fan, I'm really looking forward to Hellblade 2 first and foremost, because look, man, I remember last generation where Xbox had a lot of cartoony looking games, Sea of Thieves and State of Decay, some of their stuff. I remember there was like maybe their first or second XO that they did late last generation. And I remember they had all these cartoony art style-y games, and people was like, man, are they going to have a photorealistic game? Are they going to have a game that can compete with God of War and all of those great graphical games? And, back then I got the Xbox One X, all this power with nothing to show. And even this generation we've heard, well, I got the 12 teraflops of power with nothing to show. And I'm sorry, but Hellblade 2 is that game. God of War looks great, right? After they showed Hellblade 2, I was like, damn, that even looks better than God of War. And God of War looks incredible, right? So, yes, I'm definitely looking forward to Hellblade 2 to have that third person behind the back graphical showpiece, deep story, deep narrative. I'm definitely looking forward to that game. But another game, I don't know if it's going to make next year, but South to Midnight, that looks incredible.
Yeah, yep.
I can't wait for that game, because We Happy Few, it wasn't great, but to be fair to them, it was a crowdfunded game, and they didn't have all the funds that they wanted, but obviously they're on the Microsoft now. I'm looking forward to that game also, and I don't know if Clockwork Revolution is dropping, but Xbox has as my boy Pong Soul said, like 2 years ago, Pong Soul, you said Avalanche Games. Was that like 2 years ago?
WBG, yeah, man, it was it was really early on, yeah.
Yeah, you said Avalanche
Just took longer.
Games. And I'm just looking forward to it, man. So yeah, but Hellblade 2 was the game I'm really looking forward to the most, honestly.
Okay, all right. So Hellblade 2, that's crazy. So the first two people here, so you're right. I mean, that's the crazy thing is I've never got into Hellblade, so that's a game that I got to get into. But as far as, like you said, a graphical showcase, that narrative showpiece, we've already got it confirmed that it's setting the bar, right? Who is that, Insomniac, or said that they were kind of looking at?
Insomniac said that, those leaked, like the leaked documents, they said, that game is like I don't know if they said gold or something that we would want Wolverine to look like. So that show could listen. Insomniac games look great already. Yeah, I think that shows a lot that they're like, this game looks incredible. Insomniac, one of the best developers out there, saying how great the game looks. So I think that's important, man.
Facts, big facts. So great things going forward with Ninja Theory, man. We've always called them. Some people compare them to, like, they said it could be like the Naughty Dog of. Take that as you will. Some people say it's an insult. Some people say, it's
the old Naughty Dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is, right? Pick whatever year you choose, but some people would always compare them to them for whatever reason. So we'll see going forward how that pans out. But we're gonna throw this over to Mav, man. 2024. Shout out to Boom. I saw Boom dropping in here. Shout out to him coming through tonight. What's up, Tool, Boom, Poison, everybody, man. The whole community came through tonight. Appreciate you guys, man. So Mav, man, 2024, brother. 2023 is going to be a hard year to follow up. We're not asking 2024 to be better necessarily, but the potential is there, Mav. Now we,
Oh,
2023 was special because a lot of things actually like worked out. Like a lot of things actually like came to fruition. 2024, we don't know how everything's gonna line up, but what are you looking forward to, man?
man, I am asking for it to be better than 2023 because that would be insane. Like, why not? Let's go.
Okay, why not?
As far as like multiplats, Tekken 8, Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm really looking forward to those. I'm really curious what the hell Skull and Bones is actually going to be. Like, I just had a curiosity perspective. That game's been in such a weird place for so long, and I actually think it's maybe going to release this year.
Hasn't
It's like
somebody on this
curious.
panel played it already? Wasn't
Yeah.
somebody in a beta or something? Alpha?
I think was it
3-bit?
no
Did
no,
you play it?
no I know Jasper's
Oh, Jasper.
played
Okay.
it, but I don't know if he's allowed
I
to.
played a very early
Oh.
that it's not even recognizable.
Okay,
what I
okay.
played.
But I'm curious what it's going to be. I'm not like excited about it, but curiosity has got me so much on that game just because of everything it's went through. But man, there's so much to look forward to. On Xbox's side, Avowed is my most anticipated. They did announce it for 2024. I'm hoping it stays true to that because that is my style of game. It's kind of like an Oblivion type look to it, and it looks like it's going to kind of feel like Oblivion. So if they could do their version of Oblivion, that would be absolutely amazing for me. So Avowed from the Xbox side, but really the crazy thing is, as and 3-bit kind of touched on it, like for this year, the thing I keep thinking about the most and am really curious about is what the next Nintendo Switch or device is going to be. And they've kind of skipped a generation for me because they're so handheld focused, and it's a great device for if you're a handheld gamer, right? But if you love playing on big TVs and stuff, it's not necessarily that great. So I don't expect the next Switch or Nintendo device to be like this generational powered console or anything, but I do expect to be able to read the words on the screen on a big TV. So, like, I think it's going to take a leap a little bit as far as like the interface and all these other kind of things to make it more of a console when it's hooked up to a TV and less of a handheld that's docked. And that, as long as they do that, and if they do some other things that I really think they need to, like back compat and stuff like that, I really am curious, and I can't wait to see what they do because nothing actually gets me more excited than new hardware. I love when they release more powerful hardware. These companies kind of do new things and stuff. I'm actually curious if they have a PS5 Pro. For one thing, I'm curious if they've been holding back any announcements because they've announced nothing. Do they actually have games coming for first party or not? Like, I'm really curious because there's nothing really announced on the roadmap in the next 2 years. So I'm hoping that PlayStation has a show and does a PS5 Pro and actually has some cool games. Mainly because I want to get rid of the PS5 I have because it's ugly as hell. So I hope the PS5 Pro looks a lot better. But other than that, it's just big game releases, but in the showcases. Man, we're gonna have some crazy showcases this year, I think.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna see. We were joking last night on Ultimate, like Xbox has enough stuff they could have like a freaking huge festival now. Just take up like a whole weekend and like do like esports tournaments and have announcements on each day and all this kind of stuff because they really have enough stuff. They could do
really
something
do,
like
yeah.
that if they wanted to. I'm curious how many announcements and how many things that they're going to show this year because there is so much, dude. And we were trying to look ahead, like, and get a comprehension on what all they could have this year for announcements and trailers and all that kind of stuff. But because there's so much stuff that we know about that's been in the works for so long that we could make a realistic case for the end of this year having about 10 different games could come out that we don't know about right now. You know what I mean? Or like 2025 could be even crazier loaded than we could ever imagine. So showcases, man, the new hardware, and then all these big games, dude. Like if you pin me down to say one game, you have to pick one game. I would say probably Avowed.
I like that choice. I love the fact that you're going with Avowed too. Shout out to Obsidian. Like I said, probably going to end up being one of the top 3 studios at Xbox, in my opinion. Like, I think that's where they're going to end up. But yeah, it's interesting to see going forward, man. How these things are going to shape up. 2024 is going to be insane, man. So
Yeah.
I know you kind of talked about that, but like I kind of want to piggyback on something you said as well too, and then we'll throw this over to Pong. But Mav, like, where are you at on just? I know you specifically brought up Xbox in this point, being that they have so much to show, and that's one thing that like we haven't talked a whole lot about, of like how are they going to sort that out, right? Like, are we gonna get more showcases? Because I actually thought there would be more directs this year. I thought there'd be like a winter one, right? That was just my assumption, that they had enough later in the year to still have another direct. So, maybe we get another show. Maybe they figure that out. Maybe we do get 2 instead of 1, right? We know they're going to do more. They've come out and stated that, right? So I think that interesting point about how are they going to sort all of that out, right? So like, how important is that for Xbox going forward?
It's going to be insanely important because they have too much stuff to announce, right? Like we saw they gave the Game Awards Blade, right? That, like, Blade is a huge announcement in and of itself, like a huge big superhero game, first party type game. But we don't know like what the ZeniMax Online game is. We don't know what the id Software game is. We don't know what they got to show Perfect Dark again. They got to show State of Decay again. They got to show Fable again, and like because that's going to be probably coming 2025 maybe. Then there's like the Wu-Tang Clan game. There's the game from Certain Infinity, the Halo thing that they're doing. They're also doing a Monster Hunter thing, type game as well. There's the Blizzard game, the survival game that they have. Infinity Ward is working on a new game. I mean, like, if you just really run down the list, and some of these we've been talking about now for a couple of years, right? As far as like when are these games going to come out? When are they going to announce these games? You have IO Interactive's Dragon game thing too.
The People Can Fly game that they're doing for Xbox.
100%. You got the rumors of the Gears collection. We know Gears 6 is coming at some point too in the next couple of years. Like, you could just go down this list and be like, okay, how and when are they going to announce this many games? Because if you really think about it, a lot of these that we're assuming is by 2026. And do you wait and start announcing things until the actual year they release? Like all of it? No. So you start to thinking about how many things they have to reveal. And then they have to show these games multiple times as well before they release. So I honestly think 2024 is going to have more game announcements and trailers than we've ever seen before from Xbox.
Ooh.
And it's going to be absolutely nuts. So yeah, KT to Goat says Roundhouse Studios as well, because they've been working on a game that they talked about ever since that was part of the
Coalition as well.
In a mix. Yeah. There's so much, dude. It is absolutely bananas if you start trying to wrap your head around it. A couple years ago, I did a list. Right, I need to redo that because I think it's probably twice as big.
Yeah, definitely. A lot's happened, Mav, in the last 2 years, brother, for sure. So let me go ahead and throw this over to my two right hand men here, Pong, brother. 2020, you coined the phrase, man. You coined the phrase. You'd be a millionaire if you went ahead and copyrighted that thing. But yeah, man, the golden age of gaming, bro. We're smack dab in the middle of that, and I want to give you full credit for that too, because you've been saying that for a couple years now. This is not new. Pong saw this coming. He saw the vision before that.
I seen the coffee man. He said it too.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
Oh man, something in that coffee, man. It's got to be the coffee, bro.
Yeah, it's got to be the coffee.
Well, go ahead, Pong, man.
2024. Mav and I talked about this on Thursday night, and as Mav mentioned, and everybody's mentioned so far, I'm looking forward to it. This, again, I believe could match 2023. If a couple things fall right, it could surpass 2023. Maybe, again, not out of headline first-party titles, although there are some of those. But overall quantity and quality could even be better than last year. Let me run down this real quick for you guys. Since Mav and I went through this, I started making a list of 2024 games, right? This is my personal list that I'm excited for already. This is stuff that we have dates for, but then it gets really murky, but just expected to be 2024, right? Tekken 8, January 26th. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, January 26th. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, February 1st. Persona 3 Reload, February 2nd. Helldivers 2, PC, of course, February 8th. Banishers Ghost of New Eden, February 13th. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered, February 14th. Nightingale on PC, February 22nd. Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster, that's also coming in February. I believe that's also the 22nd. Homeworld 3 on PC, February 28th. Dragon's Dogma 2, March 22nd. Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, April 23rd. Star Wars Outlaws does not have a date yet, but we're expecting sometime around summertime. Then you got the ones that we aren't sure of. Final Fantasy 14 coming to Xbox. Big get. Not for everybody, but for me. Hellblade 2, of course. Towerborn, we're expecting that early this year. Then we've got Avowed. Clockwork Revolution potentially hitting 2024. Metaphor, ReFantazio, the new Atlas game coming out. We got Black Myth Wukong. We got Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Replaced, Flintlock, Stalker 2, Visions of Mana, Rise of Ronin over on PS5. I'm hoping it's going to come to PC finally. And Stellar Blade as well, same thing. I'm hoping it's going to get a PC. We got Path of Exile 2 beta coming out this year towards the end of the year. Witchfire on PC. There's Unicorn, I forgot this one, Unicorn, whatchamacallit, from Vanillaware is coming out early this year as well. That's just an initial list. That's before we even are in 2024. That's before studios start announcing things launching in 2024. That's before we get dates locked down. That list is already gigantic. That's what I'm talking about for me as a gamer, for somebody who does like to play a lot of different games. This year is lining up to be spectacular already. And again, we saw it this year. There are things that came out this year that we didn't have any idea last December were going to hit this year, right? We had big surprises and little surprises and everything in between. That's the type of year we are looking at. And if we are going to talk specifically about first party stuff, Nintendo launching the Switch 2 this year, which makes total sense. They cleared the decks last year of basically every single final Switch property that they potentially had in the works. I'm sure they got one or two more left, but it looked like they cleared the decks for a reason. Switch 2 has my attention for the first time in decades. Nintendo has my attention. Now they got to have backwards compatibility. And they got to make the system right, like Mav said, so that it looks on my big screen just as good as it does on a little screen. And I'm in. Okay, I'll come back to Nintendo after decades of being gone. That's going to be a huge launch no matter what. That's going to shake the industry again, because we know how Nintendo does it. When they launch a new system, they have big first-party titles available right out the gate. I expect nothing different, whether that's finally Metroid, the new Metroid Prime finally gets dropped, whether that's a new Super Mario Brothers like 3D, whatever the case may be, they're going to be ready. So that's going to be a huge year. PlayStation. I expect PlayStation to have at least a hopes and dreams type scenario this year. I expect them to have finally a big showcase, potentially showing off some of these games that obviously, just like Xbox, all those years we said, they're not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They're working on stuff. There's stuff to show. They finally got to give some type of roadmap, or at least sell their fan base to something. And if they launch a PS5 Pro, I expect them to have PS5 Pro versions of pretty much all their games coming at some point. So again, it's going to be a big year from that news cycle. But then you got Xbox. And Xbox is now lined up, as we've all talked about so many times. The vision is clear. The roadmap is clear. Where they are going is clear. Okay. And they're making big moves. They're going to launch their mobile store this year. Laugh at the mobile side of things. It doesn't matter. It's a huge move. They're taking on Google and Apple. They are going to drop some news there. But then just overall from their first party, I said it on Thursday. When you look at it legitimately with the things that are in the works, they said, their goal was 4 games per year, 1 per quarter, right? Yep. 4 big AAA first-party games. Towerborn doesn't count, right? Towerborn doesn't count, so we need 4. Hellblade 2, hopefully Avowed, Clockwork Revolution. What else you guys got? What else are you doing? Because I know there's something else in there. What happens if we do get a Marcus Phoenix collection this year? that supposedly Smoke has it been worked on. Marcus Phoenix collection could drop, right? We don't know if they count that as one of those big first party titles. It's going to be a big title, but does that count as a first party AAA game? Or does that count as a side project remaking a classic franchise again? We've got Flight Simulator. Does that count as one of them, right? We've got all these different possibilities. ID's been working on something. ZeniMax Online looks like they're ready to talk about something. This stuff is there. We potentially could have a year. I said this on Thursday. I said 12 to 15 titles from Xbox when it's all said and done, when you count the small titles and the big titles. Last year, I think it was like 8, somewhere around there, 8, 9. Yeah. 10, 12, 15, not out of the realm of possibility, because yes, they have to space things out. Of course they do for the big stuff, but they also are now to the point with this many studios that they are going to drive the news cycle again, time after time, because that does not even include Game Pass deals. That does not include all the stuff that has been pushed, like a Flintlock, like a Stalker 2, that's all coming to Game Pass day and date. They are going to drive the news cycle. Nintendo's going to get their shine. I expect PlayStation to finally get their shine this year. They've been way too quiet, but Xbox is going to be consistent throughout this year. And then you talk about other things that they're going to be doing, again, like the mobile store, like potentially new hardware themselves being ready to be shown. Again, that's big stuff. Maybe we are back in acquisition season, back in 2024. Acquisition season never stopped. They just had it on pause this entire time, waiting for ABK to get done. So if we're back in acquisition season, the news cycle this year is going to be extra special. We had a great year talking games and news here, but 2024 is lining up on all facets to potentially surpass what we just had in 2023. I think it is going to be one nonstop year of games, of news, of all the stuff that we love about this industry. Speculation Town is going to have to buy another island and expand, because we are going to have some big talking points this year. This industry is being shaped, as I said earlier, right as we are watching. We are in a historic time for the industry. Not all positive, but a lot of positive and some negative to balance it. But whatever happens, it's going to be exciting. So 2024, I am pumped for. I cannot wait. Let's get this thing going. And I think it's going to start off with a bang. To your question earlier to PTK about Xbox and what they're going to do. I'm expecting at least one extra direct this year. I could see 2 potentially, depending on what they're going to launch. They're going to do the same thing they did last year, use every single, whether it's PAX or, whether it's a Tokyo Game Show, whatever, wherever they're going to go, they're going to use that. But because they're first party, that avalanche is rolling now, because they have so much. I expect them to have an early direct here, as we're hearing, January sometime in February, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then I expect another one, and potentially 2, depending on what they got to launch this year, because they found the formula that works. They need to spotlight this avalanche. They need to make sure everybody's getting their time to shine before launch. So I think they're going to use every avenue. And like I said, from everybody's going to show up, I think, in 2024 in some way, but I think Xbox is going to be from the get-go to the end. We are going to be hearing Xbox news for all the Xbox fans out there right now.
Facts. So big things going on too. And then I want to highlight too something else too. You can't forget about the Call of Duty angle too.
Oh yeah.
God of War coming out next year.
ABK backwards compatibility dropping into Game Pass. I mean, all that's going to happen this year. Like that, it's crazy what we're going to see. We could get we could get so much as far as announcements go, PTK, just stuff down the road too. There's just limitless possibilities with where they're at right now. They've got so many studios working on so much content. It's unbelievable when you start going through it. Mav and I started going through it and it was like, oh yeah, we forgot about this. Oh yeah, we forgot about this. There's project names out there, and then there's probably about 15 games that we aren't even aware of at this point that are being made right now. That's insane. They came out this week and said, or last week, whatever it was, somebody came out and said they've got their 15-year roadmap planned out. That means you're in business. And you're not going away, by the way. That means you're not closing the doors either.
So they're not leaving in 2027?
No. Fuzz,
okay. I thought they was going to be making slot machines.
It's just going to release the entire 15-year roadmap in 2027. It's all
that's what's going to happen.
Oh, like a time capsule.
They'll be like, we're done.
Like a time capsule, right? And just walk away from the industry.
Yeah.
Give everybody the playbook. So anyway, but shout out to you guys. But Fuzz, man, once again,
Mhm.
another amazing year, 2023. But looking forward to 2024, brother. In you know, as Pong broke it down, kind of company by company, we're in a
Mhm.
fucking great spot, bro. And the
Yeah.
cool thing is, everybody's in this kind of transitionary period, and they're all different, right? Nintendo's going through something a bit different with the new console, right?
Mhm.
Xbox and PlayStation aren't quite there, although we do expect a refresh from probably both. Not quite much, not quite a refresh for Xbox from a hardware, but definitely for PlayStation, right? We're expecting some kind of pro, but you know, PlayStation's going through a transitionary phase where they're transitioning from single player story narrative driven games to having to figure this games as a service thing out, right? You know, them dropping their ball in that court and saying, we're gonna try this shit, even though we haven't done it in 25 years. We're gonna actually try and do some multiplayer stuff. And then
Yeah.
Xbox obviously having the great problem of just having so much content, so many studios positioning themselves financially, positioning themselves with Game Pass to be just have the pick of the litter as far as how can we place our games, where can we put them. You know, we can kind of dictate. You know, we're not really affected by changes in the industry. We have everything we need, so we're really
Yeah.
seeing the fruits of that labor. Where you at on 24?
Well, I'll start off with PlayStation first. Like you said, possibly a hardware refresh or the Pro model, which I think will actually benefit the whole tools argument for the Series X. But we'll see how that goes. I don't think it'll be anything really significant, and I don't think it's really going to push or be powerful enough to quite guarantee 60 frames. But it'll be interesting to see how that may change the blue team's narrative as far as powerful consoles and whatnot. But they also are going to be doing a lot of remakes. I mean, we already got The Last of Us 2 on the radar. No factions, but Last of Us 2 is getting its remake or remaster, and they're going to do probably what is it, Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. And there's even talks of the initial God of War trilogy being remastered, which would be kind of cool if I guess they go with the whole 2018 type of look. But uh, you know, they have some third party deals. Out of those third party deals that they have, Rise of the Ronin is probably the one that's most interesting to me. And then Helldivers 2 looks like it's going to be a pretty decent one as well. Those I'll either pick up on PC if they're available on PC, or I'll pick them up for my PS5, one or the other. Nintendo, on the other hand, like depending on what the hardware, um, upgrade winds up being, if it's something that's closer to this generation's level, possibly with NVIDIA and some DLSS technology, making it so it looks a little crisper on the big screen, I might wind up picking my own first Nintendo hardware. Like I've always been a Sega kid. Other parts of the family have had Nintendo. The boys have their Nintendo DSs. They didn't want Switches, which was odd to me, but it is what it is. But if Switch 2 is a little bit more potent, then I'll probably wind up picking that up. But as far as with Xbox, man, I'm going to start off with Stalker 2 is like one of the big titles that I'm looking forward to. It's not going to be quite the extraction shooter of like an Escape from Tarkov, but it does have some similarities, albeit it's more of a single player story version. And with Tarkov, if you try to do the single player mod, they will ban your account. So having Stalker 2 out for whether you're a PC guy or an Xbox guy, I'd say it's definitely something to look forward to. And I'll just stay with like the third party stuff, some of the stuff going day and date and Game Pass, as well as some of the other partner deals. Well, one that's not going to Game Pass day and date, at least I don't think it is No Rest for the Wicked. The funny thing is it's already on Xbox's site. I think you can wish list it, but I don't think you can pre-order it just yet. But that gives me a gut feeling that it's going to probably be an earlier 2024 title, because they did like a whole store refresh. So there's a few titles that might surprise you that are making their first appearance on Xbox.com. 33 Immortals, which is another one that I'm definitely looking forward to. And that one's going to be a day and date in Game Pass, but I'll still probably wind up picking that one up anyway, and playing that, or possibly doing remote play on my Steam Deck or something along those lines, or I might just pick it up on Steam, and then play it a lot on Xbox and on my Steam Deck via purchasing it from Steam. But 33 Immortals, definitely looking forward to that. Flintlock was another one. Also made its reappearance, I think, because I think it was on Xbox.com a while ago, and then they pulled it down, but they put it back up as well. That one I'm looking forward to for next year, and I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later. One that I couldn't find, although all things are pointing that it is going to be a 2024 release, is Replaced. Replaced is another one that I'm looking forward to. Can't wait to get that one going. Although I wish the Last Night had some more info about it, but
Yeah,
I know that's like one person working on it. So
yeah, man.
more power to him.
He did tweet out this year a few times throughout the year. It wasn't often, but I faintly believe him saying that like he's still working on it and things are coming along, things are going well. So it sounded pretty positive from my memory.
Yeah, and hopefully he can, get everything wrapped up some point in 2024, 2025. But in the meantime, Replace is definitely on my most anticipated list. Let's see. Now moving over to first party, and this is going to be the one that's going to be the trickiest one because I would say hands down, I don't think there's any question amongst any of us that Hellblade 2 is definitely on the release list for 2024, and I think it might be an earlier rather than later release. I think it'll be within the first 6 months, if not within the first 3 months. But there's some other ones that are on Xbox.com right now, like Avowed. Although once again, you can wishlist it, not purchase or pre-order. South of Midnight's on there, which it wasn't after the initial showing at the showcase or anything like that. And then the same thing with Clockwork Revolution. That's also on there. And we already know that they had their, rating system thing, which I was under the impression you can only have a ratings if there's a playable state. But I could be wrong on that. But hopefully those do land for 2024. Like Clockwork Revolution is one that's on my high anticipated list. I would say the order is probably like Clockwork Revolution, and then a toss up between Hellblade and South of Midnight. Avowed, not that I have anything against Avowed. I'm actually still looking forward to it a good bit, but once again, I'm not as much of the high fantasy style of game, but it's Obsidian, so I'm probably going to like it regardless. So looking forward to it. But as far as Xbox in general, we know that they've had tons of projects that have been whispered about over the past couple of years, like Project Shaolin, which is the Wu-Tang game, which I'm hoping we hear some more about here soon. Maybe it winds up being like the Hi-Fi Rush game where it's a shadow drop at this next
that would be cool.
Dev Direct type of deal. We know Towerborn is probably on the sooner than later list, possibly first 3 months of next year. And then there's Flight Sim, because I'm into Flight Sim as well. Flight Sim 2024, although it may not be as appealing, but I'll probably still wind up playing it a good bit. I think the big reason why they had to do the 2024 was the extra bits as far as like stuff that's similar to like Mud Runner or Snow Runner, but with airplanes and helicopters. The more like rescue and mission oriented type stuff, as opposed to just being the pilot from airport 1 to airport 2 kind of deal. But the fact that they're going to do some upgrades, visual upgrades, and have all these extra things to it, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Also looking forward to some of the updates we'll see for both Forza Horizon as well as Forza Motorsport for the year. But outside of Xbox, I would say probably the biggest game I'm looking forward to, and it's probably more so because of how Xbox lists the description as well as Steam listing the description. Instead of it being a Souls game, it's listing as an action RPG, which I'm hoping it goes that route more so than like a Elden Ring kind of thing, because Elden Ring just wasn't my jam, and I'm not really that big of a Souls player, although Liza P looked awesome. But I after a while it gets frustrating on some of the timing of things or making sure you have enough energy or whatever. If you swung too many times and now you're just basically standing still to get one hit type of deal. But Black Myth Wukong definitely high on the list. Hades 2 potentially is another one. Loved the first one. Wasn't expecting to like roguelikes in that regard, but Hades 2, if it's more of like a more of an expansion or upgrade over what Hades 1 is, can't wait to get playing of that. But I would say those are probably the biggest titles, and I know I'm forgetting quite a few. Like Contraband is another one that I'm hoping makes possibly the 2024 list as well. But there's just so much that is potentially for 2024, and knowing Xbox, if anything, if they've shown us anything in these past 12 months, as much as we think we know, there's a handful of stuff we don't know. I mean, yeah, we've heard some rumbles of of possibly a Phoenix collection, or id possibly doing a Mandalorian game and stuff like that. But I think there's even more stuff that might catch us by surprise as far as from some of their talented teams. Like, we haven't heard anything more recently from Double Fine, and that was one that I probably didn't cheer as loud when they were announced as being picked up as a new studio, but love Psychonauts 2. So I'm looking forward to see what else they have up their sleeve for possibly next year, because it they've ramped up was it a couple of teams working on like 3 IPs or three things right now. So it's possible that they might have something ready to go. But man, 2024, I think is going to be bigger than we even anticipate. Like, it's a shame there won't be an E3, but kind of like what Mav said, it'd be interesting if Xbox decided, hey, we're going to have our own E3 or X3 or whatever you call it. Day 1 is Bethesda, day 2 is Activision, Blizzard, and whatnot, and day 3 would be Xbox first party studios, or some sort of mixture of that all in one kind of thing. They could pretty much have their own E3 by themselves. But be interesting to see. Hopefully that secret showcase makes an appearance, because I'm tired of hearing Team Blue talk about it. Like, I would say the secret showcase was that leak. Like, and Sony needs to realize, if you look at like Grand Theft Auto, they got hacked because there was no talk of Grand Theft Auto 6. Well, maybe that's not exactly the case, but it seems like the fact that there was so little info about the next game that people got impatient. They're like, you know what? I'm going to hack them and find the stuff out on my own kind of thing. And it kind of feels like that may have been part of the inspiration, other than the ransom, for them, hacking PlayStation or hacking Insomniac, for the fact that it's like, 2 years without really having a showcase. The showcase was kind of mid, with games that don't really resonate with the PlayStation base. And then, everybody was like, oh, it wasn't as bad. And it's like, well, just wait for the secret showcase. And it's like, people got tired. No secret showcase, we hack you. Or at least that's how it seems. But kudos to 2024. Can't wait.
Awesome, man. So once again, you guys, man, there's so much to talk about going forward. 2024 can just potentially, like we said before, it could be just another banner year for all the companies, the big three, like I said, including PC as well too. So I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show on that note, man. It's been a phenomenal show. Happy New Year to everybody in chat, all the new people that came through, man. A lot of new faces. Appreciate you guys. On your way out, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure you follow all of these awesome individuals that came and hung out with us tonight. All the information is in the description, man. You guys pat yourself on the fucking back. The shop family, man, you guys are amazing. All the new members, everybody that came out. Hope you had a good time, and we will be back next week, man. Same time, same place. But let's go ahead and just get our goodbyes here on the outros, and we'll start with you, 3-Bit brother. And another phenomenal show. Glad you can come out, man. Especially for the last show of the year. It was a good one, bro.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the invite and everybody on the panel. Of course, it's always fun podcasting with you guys, and everybody in chat. You guys are awesome. Thanks for dropping on in and supporting everybody on here. This is an awesome community, and I feel honored and always blessed to be a part of it. So appreciate you all. 2023 again. What an amazing year! I'm looking forward to what they got going next year. My backlog is still, oh my gosh, it's definitely going to spill into next year. So very overwhelmed. But thank you guys. Appreciate you all. You guys can find me on Twitter at i3bit. I'm got some interesting stuff planned for next year. Really been crazy busy this year, but I'm hoping to do more content, of course, and you guys will see more announcements on that. Some stuff is cooking behind the scenes, so
Okay.
you guys will see.
We like to hear
I
that.
love you all, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.
All right, appreciate you, 3-Bit, for coming through. You guys know what to do. Go follow 3-Bit. All his information is in the description below, man. Shout out to you, 3-Bit, for coming out, especially being here, the final show of 2023. Glad you can be here, bro. It was another one for the books, man. So you guys do us a favor. Roll out the red carpet for 3-Bit, man. But moving on, Mr. Dirt Griggity, OG here. Here at the Shop Podcast as well. Glad you come through, especially for the night, last show of the year, man. Let everybody know, man, where they can find you, Dirt.
Yeah, well, check out my channel, good old Dirt Griggity. We have a lot of fun, talk a lot of shit, and we don't like ponies at all. I'm looking forward. 2023 was a good year, a good positive year for Xbox, and I just believe the future is going to get even better, man. Xbox has an incredible looking roadmap, and man. The Pistons won tonight.
Yeah, I saw that.
3-29 now.
Yeah.
3-29.
Break out the champagne.
Yeah,
Break out the champagne.
Congratulations! I know
Let's
it's
celebrate. 3-29 now.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus.
Listen, as a Timberwolves fan, I understand, Dirt.
You guys are great this year, though.
Yeah.
Do you think they got a chance to make the playoffs? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
Yes.
Who, the Timberwolves? Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
The Pistons.
The Pistons?
Oh, good lord.
hell no. But
what are they? They got to win
are,
out. They got to win out the rest of the season.
Yeah, literally, right?
My Lions are playing the Cowboys right now. What's the score? It's still.
No, they just scored. Of course, you have to say that.
Oh,
as they scored a
wow.
touchdown. As you were speaking, he crossed the goal line. What are the chances?
Yeah, so okay, yeah, man. But thanks for the invite, guys.
Not a problem, Dirt. Appreciate you, Dirt. We're going to get Dirt to bed here soon, guys. We ain't going to keep it too long. But shout out to you, Dirt. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Well, like I said, legend here in the podcast game and on YouTube. Go follow Dirt. Great podcast, great individual, man. A lot of fun over there, too. So puts on a good show. Shout out to you, Dirt. So Mr. Maverick, shout out to you, bro, for coming through. My cousin, always here. You're here twice a month at least, like minimum, bro. So you might as well be part of the show at this point, bro. But I appreciate you, Mav, always coming through. Glad you had a good time, bro. Great show. Last one of 2023, man. Looking forward to next year. But what we got coming up for Mr. FSP, man?
Man, we're taking the rest of the year off, so no shows. Tomorrow's the last day of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, no show Monday, no show Tuesday. We'll have a show Thursday and Friday of next week. But man, it's been a fun year. Congrats on all your success this year, PTK, on your channel. Dirt Griggity, you too, man, and all the growth you guys have seen over on WBG just by talking shit about PlayStation guys. It's been fun to see. You and Sean have a great thing going, man, and it's and the rest of the panel too. It's been amazing to see everything you guys do. And everybody else here part of the Fun Spec family, and I'm looking forward to what we got going on next year as well. So can't wait. 2023 is amazing, but 2024 is gonna be even better.
Awesome. Always glad to have you here, Mav. Appreciate you, man, bringing that energy, man. And can't wait to see what's coming up for FSP. You guys are growing like crazy. Shout out to all the FSP family. Pretty much everybody was here, bro. So it's like that every single week, man. It's like having a Fun Speculation 2.0 on Saturday. But I appreciate you. What's up, Luke? Coming through late, man. Appreciate you, Luke, showing up. I saw Logan. Everybody, Boom was in here earlier. Everybody really came out and supported tonight. I appreciate you guys, man. Shit, Jesus, you guys are fucking awesome. But I don't know what happened to. Oh, there's Fuzz. Okay, here he is. Okay, I don't know what happened to Fuzz, but he dropped out There
Yeah,
we go.
my
Okay,
my
perfect.
internet decided to reset for some reason.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well, glad to have you back, brother. But Pong, Mr. Pong So, bro, Golden Age of Gaming,
Yes, sir.
just the Oracle. What else could I call you, man?
Nah,
But-
man. Just
The
a mayor of
conductor.
Speculation Town. That's all we
Mayor,
are.
co-mayor,
Yeah,
yeah.
choo, motherfucker. Yeah, the hype train. 2023 was extra special. First of all, to the panel here, obviously, what an amazing way to end 2023 with you guys as my last podcast of 2023. And for all my shows that I've been on in 2023, for all the amazing community members, panel members that I've had the privilege of being on panel with or listening to throughout the year, this year was fantastic. I want to give an extra special shout out though to this community, this community, the growth in this community
Crazy
on
man.
all sides, just like the growth of the industry. And of course, you, PTK, and Dirt, who have been a part of this for a very long time, know it as well. But man, just since I've started in this game, right, the growth here in the community, the support, this last half of the year really caught fire with everything going on. It was year round, but man, this last half of the year, community was extra special this year. So thank you all, every single one of you listeners, whether you're listening now live, whether you're lurking, whether you're chatting, whether you're listening to it in the future. Thank you for just a simply spectacular 2023. Can't tell you how much, I've said it time and time again, what it means to me to come on these shows and what it's done for me. None of you will know, very few people know the depth of real life stuff going on and what it means for me to be able to come here and take time away from your life and talk about a hobby like this that I absolutely have a passion for and share that with all of you and you guys giving it back. So thank you all for your time this year in 2023. Nothing but love and respect again to all the panel members that I shared time with this year, all the chats that I've shared time with this year. Just simply an awesome year, and happy new year to every single one of you out there. Be safe, have a great new year. Whatever your plans are, please enjoy it, and let's kick ass in 2024. No matter what's going on in your life, let's keep the fight going. I know a lot of people are having tough times right now. Let's keep the fight going. We're going to do this together. 2024, we're going to change things. So let's do it. Listen, y'all, Pongsol on Xbox, Pongsol on the X, formerly known as Twitter. You all know that. Again, next week, I don't know if Boom's having a show Tuesday, but you got to show up for Xbox or Xbox Factor podcast because it is all good things green every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. You know the drill, but it's even a little bit better now because Steel Rain is now a permanent member. So get over there. One of the best in the business, Boom. He supports everybody. That's why I still call it his show, especially Tuesday's show. But Thursday, Mav and I will be back for PM in the PM. Might be another late start. We will see how things go this week with a job. But otherwise, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, every Thursday, Fun Speculation Network. PM in the PM. We're a two-man show. Most of the time, we do have guests from time to time, but man, we kick back and we just catch up with our week and catch up with everybody in the chat. So join us there for that. And then Friday nights, Xbox Ultimate, where the family gets together, laughs a lot, but we also talk a lot of good gaming talk and get different perspectives from everybody there on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, back on the Fun Speculation Network. And then, of course, God willing, well, first of all, Saturday morning, Living Split Screen is back next week as well. We just did a 5.5 hour show today. My brother from another Steel Rain and I had an amazing 2023 with y'all. We're going to do more in 2024. That's our plan. That's our goal. So get ready. It kicks off next Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, Living Split Screen. And then, of course, God willing, back here for another Shop podcast with two of my favorite people and whoever the guest is, of course, PTK Blam and Fuzzy Belvedere, both brothers from another. Listen, y'all, it's a golden age of gaming. It truly is. We got more than enough to play. Get out there. Have a great new year. Play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Thanks, PTK.
Appreciate you, brother. Once again, go follow Pong, man. The easiest way, go hit him on X, follow him there, keep up with all the stuff he has going on. But I appreciate you, man. Extra special to me, Pong, for just bringing the energy every single week, adding new shit, just the energy and all the new stuff you add to the show every single week, bro. I just greatly appreciate you being here and elevating the show to a new level in 2023, man. We're gonna continue to keep going that route, man. Thank you so much, bro. And then Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man. What can I say, bro? You did the longest tenured member here at the Shop Podcast. But yeah, I appreciate you, brother, man. But 2023 is in the bag. Let everybody know where they can find you, Fuzz.
Well, just thank you to everybody that showed up tonight. As far as everybody in the chat, special guests, Mav, Griggity, 3-Bit, love you guys. All the content that you do and everything that you do for the community. Always love being here with my extended family, with PTK and Pong as well. Best wishes for the new year. We're going to do definitely bigger and better things for 2024. It's going to be a banner year. I can feel it. And for everybody in the chat, thank you so much for taking the time to check us out, interact with us. Don't forget, please hit the like button, subscribe. We greatly appreciate your time. And for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on FSP, although I don't think we're having the show Monday because of the new year and everything. So with that, everybody have a safe and happy new year. Please, if you're going to drink, stay indoors or Uber or whatever you have to do, but definitely have a safe and happy new year. Look forward to the big new year. And for everyone else, thanks again. Just always love doing this. As far as, this is my hobby, and getting to talk about it and hang out with you guys has just been an awesome thing. And I cherish it so much. So greatly appreciate everything that you guys do, and thanks to the community. But once again, look forward to hopefully seeing you guys here again next Saturday for the Shop podcast and all the other podcasts that all these gentlemen are on throughout the week. Definitely follow them on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, as well as YouTube and other social media platforms. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, Fuzz, and thank you for being here. Like I said, extra special thank you for me personally. Just Mr. Consistent, always being here, man, providing so much energy over the years for me and the podcast and helping me grow this thing to what it's become at this point, man. So your boy, your host, man, PTK Blam, I just want to say thank you mainly to all the people in chat, everybody, that's going to watch on the replay. You guys are why we do this every single week. All of us here are content creators in some way, shape, or form, but this is why we gather together for these moments. And 2023 was a big year, not just for video games, but the community as a whole. So I just thank you guys. The Shop podcast, so much growth. We broke records this year. We break records all the time here now. It feels like, man, the constant support. So we're going to continue to try and grow that. So I appreciate you guys so much. Been doing this a long time, and the recognition, man, feels good. And it just makes me feel like we're doing the right thing, and I got the right people here. So we're going to continue to do that. So shout out to all my guests throughout this year as well, too. Had a bunch of new guests this year, had some big shows this year. Shout out a bunch of firsts as well, too. So it's just been an amazing year, man. But like you said, the easiest way to keep up with me is going to be Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Follow me there. My DMs are always open, so hit me up if you guys want guest ideas or you got ideas for a show, podcast, questions, things like that. As well as on Xbox, if you want to ever game, hit me there as well too. We'll be doing a whole lot of that. So, man, once again, I just thank you, love all you guys. You guys are especially special to me. And once again, enjoy your new year. Please, like Fuzz said, be safe. I want to see you guys next Saturday. All of you, please, right? So I want to see all of you next Saturday. So be safe, but have fun. Enjoy your time with your family. Have a long weekend. Enjoy your time off work and things of that nature. We'll see you guys next week, man. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, yo.
Later.